Let's do it.
Welcome to Two Nobodies with the Mic.
Sit here, say, great job, 49ers.
The 5 best players ever in the NBA, Kobe Bryant is not one of them.
Robert, you can't say anywhere that he doesn't belong in the league.
Give me that amount of money, and I'll do whatever you want me to do. Josh Allen will never make the playoffs again.
The SEC is straight trash.
This fool was a crumb buff.
Oh, he was in one of those
Yeah.
vests? Yeah. What's up, everybody, and welcome to Two Nobodies with the Mic. The Wednesday edition, episode 114. How's everyone doing out there, guys? I hope you had a wonderful Wednesday. We have a ton to talk about today. Yesterday, we did all our college football. So if you haven't seen that, go ahead and go to YouTube, and you could watch that over again. We're also on Spotify. We're on everything, man. Two Nobodies with the Mic. That being said, here we are again on a beautiful Wednesday, episode 114. Let's go through introductions. You guys might notice the crew. We have executive producer Eddie Money in the house. What up, man?
What's up, man? How we doing?
The tallest bed on the planet. I feel like that bed is like 6 feet high off the ground. It looks like a tower. We have Rafa the Guru is in the house with that beautiful Michael Vick jersey.
I thought you were going to say the beautiful pink hydro.
That's Stanley,
beautiful.
The fucking
The
Stanley.
pink Stanley. Rafa,
Stanley.
how many times have I told you this? Okay, Stanleys are for women, Yetis are for men. That's the rule. You can't
Dude,
rock the Stanley, Papa.
Bro, I grab whatever's fucking available. And
The hot
unfortunately, in my house, there's like
I don't know, 67 or 77, whatever the fuck it is, Stanley's. I grab whatever the first one is there. I don't give a fuck. Boom, grab it. I don't even get the right straw most of the time. But I did know. I did. My daughter taught me this. If the cover here, if it's clear, then it's the clear straw, which I did not know because I use I grab whatever straw, and she was like, "Dad, that's the wrong straw." So now I know. I'm up on the Stanley game.
Save that for the View. Wrong show. Wrong show, Papa.
Oh,
guys,
man.
we are blessed again to have our good friend of the show. He's a regular. He's a nobody at this point. Is he not an official nobody? I don't know if that's a compliment.
Not a nobody. He's a somebody, but he's
he is. He makes our show completely legit. A true journalist. If you guys don't recognize him, Ryan Holmes from the Athlete to Athlete podcast. If you're into wrestling, you 100% recognize this giant of a man. He does intermat wrestling. He does all kinds of great stuff. Ryan, thank you for blessing us again. How you doing, Papa?
Appreciate you guys having me back on. I literally just got to Pennsylvania today, home to see the family for the holiday. So excuse the hostage-like backdrop that I got here. My parents are redoing the basement, so it's literally the quietest part of the house. Where I think the only thing you might hear is my dog bark or something like that. But yeah, this is the setup for while I'm home, where I can get some solace and some quiet to get some shit done.
That's awesome. Is that the house that you grew up in Pennsylvania?
It is.
Same home?
It is.
That's cool. That's really
very
freaking cool.
Very cool.
I
thought, to be honest with you, I was looking for the ISIS flag in the background.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Watch your head.
Sign.
Protect your neck. Protect your neck.
Yeah. The only one that is done down here. You can't see the floor, but the carpet is like ripped up behind me. But like this is the only like plain wall. There's a bar literally on the other side that has been there my entire life. So we used to throw parties and stuff down here. It's fully stocked with alcohol and everything. But yeah, this is the basement is kind of where it all used to go down. I lived down here for a while after college as well, and I think at some point, me and each one of my siblings have lived down here. And this was like the rec room where we learned how to wrestle. And then there was also like a weightlifting gym down here at one point too. So everything has kind of gone on. We've all grown up in this basement, either sneaking out the back door to go to a party or throwing one or whatever else you may have you down here in the basement. So like I said, just got home to Pennsylvania today. Happy to be home, even though it's cold, but a couple of flights and back in PA until the new year.
Beautiful, beautiful. One day you will have to explain to us how you became a Dodger fan, Falcons fan, a Florida State fan, and that's just all crazy. But I hope you guys are enjoying the show, guys. We are live on YouTube, so go ahead, send us a comment, give us a shout out. We'll give you a shout out.
And Instagram.
There's very few. And Instagram live on both. So don't be afraid to talk your shit if you need some advice. I mean, Mr. Holmes crushed his predictions last week. That was a great edit.
Crushed it.
So crushed that shit. But yeah, we only have one rule on this show. I kind of flexed another one yesterday that Rafa put me in check. But the only rule is don't be a loser. And we like to gamble. But gamble responsibly. Don't be that dude. It's Christmas. Don't spend your wives or your girlfriends, like, dude, that parlay is not going to hit, man. Go and get your lady a gift. That's what we mean about not being a loser. So, that being said, episode 114, we always kick off the show with You Are Fired. You could also hire someone if you feel they are worthy of that. Moises Arono, what up, man? How you doing, Papa? We love you. Moises always blessing us. But Moises, if you have anyone that you want to fire or hire, we do this every Wednesday. If someone is grinding your gears, I know I have something. Hopefully none of you guys steal it. But who wants to start with You Are Hired? or fired?
I'll go first. I want to fire all the Travis Hunter Heisman haters who hated on him winning the Heisman. Listen, there was nobody better this year than that man. So quit with your hate and congratulate the player on the field, not off the field, because we've seen the drama for other motherfuckers' mamas. So
Can we flip that, Rafa? Can we put the mirror facing the other way and say you might be hating on Ashton Genty a little bit?
Oh.
No.
You
Okay.
could try, but no. No. So
Okay.
definitely not.
Okay.
I'm on the right side of this with whoever else voted for that man. And
a lot of people, like I said last night, a lot of people voted for Genty. I was shocked, man.
Zero Cool
Who wants-
says
Cool.
Genty was robbed. Hunter wasn't top in either wide receiver or corner.
That was my same argument weeks ago. My same argument weeks ago was that he wasn't the best corner and he wasn't the best receiver. That was my argument, 100%. But Genty played soft ass schedule. Everyone keeps bringing up the Oregon game fucking 10 weeks ago, 11 weeks ago. That was it. That's the only team he faced that was even comparable. So I hope when Boise plays, I hope you guys can all actually watch this man play the game. And in the first half, when he has 15 carries for 47 yards, you'll be like, that's what it was. There it is.
I can't wait to see Travis. I can't wait to see Travis Hunter in the college football playoff. Oh.
He's yeah, dude. That's not even a thing though. Like
Oregon doesn't even have a good defense for that even to be an argument. They're not known for their defense. They're known for their offense.
Exactly. And the other thing is that we've seen in the last 2 years that it didn't matter if your team made the playoff or not. Clearly, with Daniels and with Caleb Williams both winning the Heisman, and they weren't in the playoff. If Cam Ward, we said it last night, Cam Ward has a couple more touchdowns in a couple more games, he's there. Dylan Gabriel scores a little more, he wins it too. Genty was never going to win it. I'm sorry, guys, but quit hating on Travis Hunter. That man deserved it in this season.
Let's move on because we could argue for hours about that.
Ashton Genty, he won the fan Heisman though. He won the fan vote.
Well, let me transition into my firing, and it's a very wide spectrum. It's youth football coaches, high school football coaches, college, and even NFL running back coaches. If you guys didn't see, one of my favorite running backs, something I cannot believe this happened to my dude with the Colts. And then I believe a safety did it with the Bengals as well. But I feel like we've seen the dropping of the ball as you cross the goal line. We've seen it. I feel like we've seen it 6 or 7 times now in the last 2 years. Okay. And there was who I believe to be the best running back, hands down, not even close. I mean, he's the GOAT, is Barry Sanders. And you guys remember what Barry Sanders did and what his father taught him to do after every touchdown he scored? He would cross the goal line. His dad said, act like you've been there and go hand it to the referee. Now, why? And I get it. Scoring touchdowns are fun. You should celebrate. You should celebrate with your team. Do whatever the hell you want. But this is 2024, and we've seen it over and over again. Secure the ball. Are you too cool for school? I'm blaming the coaches because it's a very simple fix. The next time someone scores a touchdown and doesn't hand the ball over to a referee, you're gassers at practice. Gassers all freaking day. I feel like it's a very simple, I'm not saying don't celebrate. Hand it to them, go celebrate. But this could be a very easy fix. And if you didn't see, that game, and his name is I literally start him on
Jonathan
my
Taylor.
fantasy.
Jonathan Taylor.
Jonathan Taylor. Okay.
Huge momentum swing in that game, by the way. In a
Huge!
must-win game. In a must-win game for a Stanford player who's an elite running back in the league, for that to happen in a huge game, a must-win game for you, which literally, it was brutal. It was brutal.
Huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that might have put him up 2 scores, right?
It was definitely like a 14-point. Yeah, it was a 14-point swing. You know, that it seems like if I'm coaching football right now, I'm using that as an example. I'm showing highlights of Barry Sanders and saying, like, this is the best that ever did it. If it was good enough for him, it's good enough for anybody else. Let's start handing the ball off to the referee and then do whatever the hell you want. But I'm sick and tired of seeing it. I really am, man.
I got a question for you on that.
Yeah, go ahead.
So you know how there's a rule that if they're out of bounds, but and they run into the touchdown, but if they're out of bounds within 2 feet, it can be considered a touchdown. Have you seen that recently? It happened with Chase Brown on the Bengals against the Cowboys.
No,
he had like 3 steps. He had like 3 steps, and that's what made it a touchdown because he was like 3 steps away. If he was 1 step, I think that it would have been down at like the 1 or something like that.
So
it's a dumbass rule, but
it's the most random, obscure, like very, very like minute rule. But people are saying, what if they applied that to when it's clear and obvious, and people like let the ball go?
No. Finish the fucking play. This is the problem with young people with your generation, Eddie Money. This is the shit. I'm telling you, it's the dumbass young people on this in this country that think, oh, let's just change the rules because we're fucking retarded. No, fucking finish the goddamn play. Cross the goal line, and then after that, you want to put the ball through your fucking pants, out your ass, whatever the fuck you want to do with it. Cross the goal line.
Yeah.
Hit a pylon. You want to cross the pylon. Boom.
Smack
do
the
it Gronk did. With the ball if you want.
Spike the ball.
Spike
the ball. Just
in the end
zone. Cross the goal line. I remember Deshaun Jackson in the Army, the All-Star game. He did that shit. I'll never forget. In the high school, he went to Long Beach Poly, and he did it like 5 yards before the damn end zone. He ran away from everybody, and he dropped that shit 5 yards. By the way, the announcers were like, why? Dude, I saw it instantly. I saw it and knew it happened instantly. And the announcer's like, what? What's the holdup? What's going on here? It's like, dude, he clearly fucking let the ball go before he crossed the goal line. It's been driving me nuts since Sunday, and I had to let it out. Coaches, be better. Hold your guys, your young men, your young kids. Hold them accountable. Show them Barry Sanders tape and dude, that's just I am
great firing.
I am getting so close to just changing the name to Get Off My Lawn podcast. Like I am Clint Eastwood at this point. My patience is just not there anymore. But that's who I'm firing.
CJ
Who's
said
next?
He's really sick of Rafa coming for our generation.
Ooh, what happened?
CJ is tired of you coming for our generation, Rafa.
Tell CJ to get in the comments. I'm sorry, but your generation is just in fucking la la land. You guys want to throw away history. You guys want to fucking change the rules for everything because your vagina's hurt. I mean, it's literally it is ridiculous. Like your train of thought for a lot of the shit is, and then you guys think you're smarter than everyone. No, you're not. Listen, stop trying to change shit. And that, I guarantee you that, the 3 feet before, let's give them 2 yards. So let's make the field 98 fucking yards then instead of 100 because you need it. Bro, just do shit the way it's supposed to. The game is fine. There is no need to change the game. So stop trying to cater to you dumb motherfuckers because you can't process certain things because you're so worried about all the other bullshit.
CJ, when you clip this, make sure you zoom in on that pink Stanley. when he's going off on the generation.
When he takes the sip when we started.
Amazing.
I'm a married
Who's
man
next?
with 2 children. I don't give a fuck.
I got it. My firing is the staff at Marshall, and I mean the administrative staff at Marshall, who decided that it was going to be a mutual parting of ways from their head coach after going 10-3 and winning their conference to allow him to go to a last place Southern Miss team. And now, because of that, their entire team entered the transfer portal because they didn't fight for the coach that just bought them a winning record and a conference championship. So the stupidity by the administration to think that they couldn't compete with a last place Southern Miss is ridiculous, and they all need their heads examined for letting go of a coach that just took them to, like I said, to a conference title.
That is
Unfreaking
also a great firing, and that should be also the NCAA for allowing this portal to open up at this point, which I said a year ago that it was stupid, and now all of a sudden everyone says it. We've known it that it's stupid, and this is what happens. So now, who's filling in for Marshall? Is there who's getting that bowl game? Some 5-7 fucking
they
turd?
opted out.
Yeah,
they opted out,
but
they opted out, but it was already a matchup set. So is there a team that's going to fill that matchup?
I hope so, because they're playing Army, and I love Army.
Yeah, so you got to give somebody. You know what? Let Boise play Army for a tune-up. See how that goes. See, so Genty can rush for 3,000 yards.
Zero Cool asks, if Boise wins the Natty, would that change your mind?
Bro, listen, if they win the Natty, I'll fucking sit up here and do this show fucking with a Boise fucking hat on. I'll fucking put bluegrass behind on this backdrop if they win the Natty. I don't even think they're going to win a goddamn game, yet alone the Natty. So, but listen, if he goes out and he rushes for 200 yards on 25 carries, then maybe I'll consider him being second in the Heisman. So there's
consider.
So
He
was.
He doesn't even think that he deserved that.
I don't. But hey,
not less hate, man.
Yeah, sorry. Go ahead, anybody.
Anyone else?
I'm firing Rafa for the Genty hating for no reason.
I said it early in the show. I mean, it's.
Dude,
the
I've
thing
been
is, Rafa and I have
hating
watched
him
those.
Since you've seen it, Ed.
Well, no, we've watched the games that were televised where he struggled in the first half. The quarterback from Boise State looked really good, and they were feeding him the ball with 30 points up, and it just rubbed us the wrong way. I think we can't unsee that, and we didn't really
guarantee you that the people that are trying to get Genty the Heisman or that are boasting about it the most are people that only were watching his stats and watching his clips on social media. I guarantee you the majority of these people didn't actually watch these games. It's so funny how we have, for the college football playoff, everybody wants to talk about strength of schedule this and strength of record that. And then you look at his stats and then you want to compare him to guys who were in better conferences that didn't win the Heisman. It's like, wait a second, you have to look at competition. I will say that Genty is good. I don't think he's a shitty football player. I think he's very good. I think he should do well in the NFL. It's going to certainly be a learning curve. He was good for them last year as well. I don't think he had I think he may have had a little bit over 1,000 yards. So it wasn't like he just like popped onto the scene. I think that they decided to it was kind of what we saw from Kirk Cousins in the Raider game. We're going to give it to our running back all game because we don't trust our quarterbacks as much. So that's what Genty was for Boise. And the quarterback's going to have to show up in the college football playoff, but they didn't really play good teams in order to equate what Genty did this year to what Mark Ingram did when he won the Heisman. It's apples and oranges, my friends. You're talking about the SEC and the Mountain West. Like, just stop. Like, again, not trying to take anything away from Genty being a good player, but you can't compare what he did with nearly 400. He's probably going to end the year with like 400 carries, as opposed to what Mark Ingram did when he was sharing a backfield with Derrick Henry and getting half those carries. It just doesn't. It's not equal.
You can never compare any season. You can't compare any running back who's won the Heisman, and you can't compare Genty with them because they were far superior. You can't compare them with the runner-ups at running back to them. Melvin Gordon was superior to Genty at Wisconsin, and he was runner-up. Toby Gerhart was superior to Genty at Stanford, and he didn't win. Christian McCaffrey was superior to Genty's season. That was at Stanford also. He didn't win. Like, there is a list
But
that haven't won that have had superior seasons against superior talent. So
it's not superior, not superior in stats wise, Rafa. There was a time, Rashawn Salam, I think there was a time when you hit 2,000 yards, boom, it was signed, sealed, delivered. Genty, I mean, he's very close, to
there's like 15
Barry Sanders.
guys, Eddie. There's like 15 guys, maybe more. No, overall ever in college football to rush for 2,000 yards. There's been 15. You know how many have won the Heisman? I think it's like 1, maybe 2. And I think it's just Barry. Because Melvin Gordon was really close to Barry, and he didn't win. So
we're gonna need stat checker on that.
Look it up. I had this argument like 4 weeks ago, and I looked it up. I don't remember exactly, but you can look it up, Eddie Money, on Football
27.
Reference. Look it up.
Yeah.
27 college running backs have rushed for 2,000 yards in a season.
Name them.
Tevin Coleman, Donta Foreman, Christian
Not
McCaffrey,
a Heisman. Not a
J.J.
Heisman.
Arlington, Rashard Penny,
Not a Heisman. Not
Derrick
a Heisman.
Henry, Jonathan
One.
Taylor, Trey Davis.
Not a Heisman. Not a Heisman.
And that's just some of them, but I'm not going to.
And you named one Heisman. Derrick Henry, and you missed Barry Sanders. Kevin Smith is on that list. Melvin Gordon's on that list. None of them won a Heisman.
Ron Dane.
2 Heisman.
Ron Dane.
Didn't win a Heisman.
Bullshit.
Well,
Ron Dane.
Free season.
All right.
Free season.
Is that it for your? Is that it for your fired? Is that it?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
What do we got? What do we got on the docket, Eddie Money? What are we gonna fucking lose our minds about tonight?
All right. So you guys are already talking about it in the group chat, so I decided you might as well just put it on the script. Dion was asked that if the Giants were to have the number 1 pick, if he would want Shador to go there. And he obviously said yes. But Eddie is a firm believer that I couldn't tell what you guys were arguing about, but it was very obviously passionate. So I couldn't tell if you were arguing that Shador only wants to go to the Raiders, but I'm not too sure.
No, what Eddie thinks is Eddie thinks that that Dion only wants Shador to go to the Raiders. And Dion was asked by Pac-Man Jones on Pac-Man's podcast, which is phenomenal, by the way, and everyone should check it out, that if the Giants had the number 1 pick and they picked Shador, will he go there? And he said, yes, basically. He basically said yes.
He said yes.
The Raiders would pick Travis Hunter. That's what he said. That's basically what was asked of him. And he basically said yes. I don't think, but Eddie's a firm believer that he will block the deal for the Giants if they have the number 1 pick and they take Shador. He thinks the Giants block the deal. I mean, I think Dion says no.
Okay. Are you ready for my argument, everybody? Okay, because I cannot believe
by argument he means wishes for the Raiders.
Thank you.
This is okay.
Let's take this into consideration. Okay. Hold on, real quick, Ed. Let me fucking read.
Show that shoulder.
Let me read the fucking whole thing here before you listen. Before Eddie goes off. Eddie has a Raider sleeved tattoo on his arm. Before, so this is just a disclaimer, and now Eddie's gonna explain his thoughts on this.
Okay,
let's let Eddie rub the magic lamp here.
This is not a Raider take. This is a father take. Okay, and I will explain why. Okay, Deion Sanders, the best cornerback in NFL history, 3 to 4 years ago, reached out to the best quarterback in NFL history and asked him to mentor his son. And if you see the videos, Shador looked very young. It's on record. They talk after every game. I don't know how many sessions they've had, but this is a relationship that has been going on 3 to 4 years. Now, that being said, would you agree or would you not agree? And I'm not giving Tom Brady all the credit that he will be the number 1 pick in the draft. This relationship has worked. And that's, you can't argue that. Now, why in the F would you be this close to your son, okay, and the best quarterback of all time, him being his mentor and guardian angel and whatever you want to call it for the rest of his career, and not make that happen? Dion has already stated, okay, and I think he's already said too much, that he will go to the correct team and I will work behind the scenes to make that happen. Now, I heard, listen, Shador was in New York. He threw to Malik Neighbors. They asked him about the Giants. He said he would go. This is the NFL draft. The smoke screens and the lying. They've already said too much. You cannot, you cannot go on that podcast and say, we're only going to the Raiders, because it takes all the leverage away. This is chess, not checkers. They've already showed their hand. You got to regroup and say, guys, why, Rafa, if this was your son, if Shador was your son, would you, we have seen the shit show that is the Giants front office, literally closer than we've seen any other front office, right? In Cheyenne, whatever, we saw him value Daniel Jones more than he valued probably.
That is such a bad take. Eddie, that's a bad take, and I've argued this with you 100 times, because Daniel Jones having Saquon Barkley doesn't make them what gets them. Does it get them into the playoffs? Does it get them another win or two? It doesn't.
It doesn't.
But when you look,
you chose the wrong guy.
You didn't choose the wrong guy. You didn't pick Daniel Jones over Saquon Barkley. Why do you keep saying that? They didn't do that.
That's what 100%.
How did they not? They paid Daniel Jones. They didn't pay Saquon. They let Saquon
They paid
walk.
Daniel Jones. They paid Daniel Jones 2 seasons ago. That was 2 seasons ago. That wasn't last year. It was 2 years ago. 2 years ago, they paid
him. They cut him in the middle of the freaking season and disrespected him, by the way. I feel bad for Daniel Jones. It's not Daniel Jones. He was drafted too high. He should have never been drafted that high.
There's plenty of quarterbacks.
You know why? Because they embarrassed the
shit.
They embarrassed the shit out of him by putting him at free safety on a scout team and had cameras showing him. That was bullshit. This GM showing 100% said, I'm not going to pay a running back $14 million a year for my $50 million, quarterback to hand the ball off. He chose, and the owner said, Amara, are you sure? Like, this is our bell cow. This is the most famous and most liked player that we've had in this organization, since probably
in 5 years. Michael Strahan, in 5 fucking years.
Okay,
dude, it's a running
5
back.
years.
It's a running back. All right, that wasn't going to take you to the next level because your team isn't ready for the next level, and they played a shitload of money to Burns, and they knew Daniel Jones was coming off the books because they knew they weren't going to win with him. Dude, listen, and then you're sitting, because he should have taken Jaden Daniels. He had no chance of drafting Jaden Daniels. He did not. 0 chance of drafting him, period. That's fine. When you look, if I'm Dion and I'm looking at the rosters, there is no doubt in my mind that the New York Giants roster, you know it, on defense, they're superior to
they're both too fucking. Why?
Dude, Eddie,
they're both 2-11.
Because their quarterbacks suck. If you're Shador Sanders, do you want to throw to Malik Neighbors or do you want to throw to Brock Bowers? Yeah. Stop it. Yeah, let
That
me
is-
throw to Brock Bowers instead of Malik Neighbors.
That is a wash.
Come on.
He has more fucking receptions right now than fucking.
Of course he does.
Neighbors.
They have nobody on the Raiders to throw the ball to.
And who?
There is
And
And
who do
neither
the
does
Giants-
neither
who
do the Giants though.
Who do the Giants?
only
Giants have
Malik
Malik
Neighbors.
Neighbors.
That's
And they don't have a
who's throwing
quarterback.
the ball.
Guys,
No,
Who's throwing the
you
ball?
can-
Neither
let's-
team
let's-
has a
let's-
quarterback though.
look, the Giants' defensive line is superior to the Raiders' defensive line. Let's start there.
Christian Wilson and Max Crosby. Those guys suck.
Not better than Lawrence, Thibodeau, and Burns. I mean, I don't know.
Thibodeau barely plays.
And Lawrence
But
is on
anyways,
IR, missed 10 games.
Crosby's
let's-
better
let's-
than Thibodeau.
Yes, let's
Yes,
rewind.
well, yes, Crosby's better than all of them. Listen, at the end of
Exactly.
the day, it's fucking New York. And the Raiders today hold the number 1 pick. If the Raiders hold the number 1 pick, there's no issue. He will go
And
to the
that's
Raiders.
what-
But if he gets
that's why-
drafted by the Giants, he will go to the Giants. It's the Giants. It's not the fucking it's the Giants. It's the New York Giants. You're
Okay.
acting like the Giants
Yeah.
are this shit fucking
I would not-
organization.
I would not subject my son, who I love, to the New York media. It's to be a quarterback in New York, Jets or Giants. It's the most scrutinized thing other than the Dallas Cowboys position. It's not even close. That media is brutal, and that's one
You
of the
want to be
reasons
big
I
time? Win in
believe.
New York, baby.
And that's one of the reasons I believe that Dion does not want his son in New York. Listen, the GM is trash. Listen, we all now see that Brian Dable is not Albert Einstein of a OC. He had fucking Josh Allen, okay? He had Josh Allen, and we all know what he is now, the best quarterback.
Yeah, but when
You know,
he won Coach of the Year, he had Daniel Jones.
Damn right. Don't knock on Dable, Eddie, because you love Dable when he won Coach of the Year.
When
You
you won
loved
Coach of the
him.
Year, he had Daniel
Bro,
Jones. So
When you
the GM and the guys at the Giants, they're definitely not smart. One, they're not smart for paying Daniel Jones, and they're not smart for letting Saquon go either. Like that was the dumbest thing, because you let them go within the conference, not just within the division. Like, you let them go to somebody you're playing twice a year. That's the worst part about it. Like, that is a
Your arch
horrible
rival.
decision.
Your arch
That
rival.
is a horrible decision. But I will say, if the Giants have the number 1 pick and they take Shador is going to the Giants. He's not gonna give that up. It's not gonna be an Eli Manning situation. I think what truly happened is Dion said too much. Dion originally
Yes.
said too much, and he
Yes,
was
I
like,
agree.
"Oh shit, I gotta walk it back." And I guarantee you, he probably got a call from the NFL as well when he said too much. And the NFL was like, "Hey, listen, we can't have that. Like, there's already people saying that we're scripting this shit for the Chiefs. We can't have people saying that they're doing some inner work to make sure that their kid, whether they're a high-powered NFL former player, Hall of Famer, whoever, we can't have that." So he's going to say he's going to go wherever, obviously. But the reason that he went and said that to the Raiders, because he knows the Raiders have the first pick, and he wants his son to have to go with the first pick. If the Giants had the first pick and he was at a banquet with them, he'd say the same exact thing. But I do not think, if the Giants have the first pick, I think that they would take Travis Hunter, only because I think that they get a quarterback from somebody that is already in the draft and they don't draft one. That is my thought. And I know I said that before, that I think they take Sam Darnold, because the Vikings are not going to pay Sam Darnold, and 1 year only is what you need for a quarterback to truly explode. And it might not be Sam Darnold. It might be another quarterback, but I don't think that they draft a quarterback. I think they take some veteran from another team and place him into that offense. That's what I think truly happens. They bring in a vet. They don't bring in a rookie to be in that situation. They just don't, because the last time that they did that, they took Daniel Jones, and they took him because they reminded him of Eli. That's why. And they're like, well, shit, Eli is kind of one of one. He's the only person to beat Tom Brady in a Super Bowl, basically. So
2 times.
I don't think, twice, but I'm saying he's the only he did it twice. He's the only quarterback to do it, though. But I don't think they take a quarterback in the draft. I honestly don't. No, regardless whether they have the first pick or not, I think their quarterback comes from a guy who's already in the NFL. It is not going to be that. And if they do take a quarterback, Go ahead.
Why would they listen? They took Daniel Jones, and Daniel Jones won a playoff game on the road, by the way. He won a playoff game on the road as a shit fucking quarterback. Why would they not take another number? Why would you go out and get a quarterback in Sam Darnold that has never done shit until this season, full of weapons, when you're literally, it's so much easier for them to just go and get, if you're their number one pick, if I'm the Giants and I have the number one pick, I go to Dion and Shador and the agent, whoever it is, and I sit them down and I said, listen, we want you to be our guy. We're going to build this around you. If you don't like the GM, and the Mara's got to do it. If you don't like the GM, fuck it. We're going to find a better GM. We're changing the head coach. We're going to build something the right way. And you do
because
it with
they can do the same thing with Sam Darnold because they didn't spend money on a $14 million running back. They no longer are paying Daniel Jones, so that money is freed up. Neighbors is on a rookie contract. They can pick up a rookie that's not a quarterback who they're not going to have to pay crazy amounts of money and bring in
Jackson
a vet.
Dart.
Like
Jackson Dart.
that's what I'm saying. If they were to take
bring
Sam
in a quarterback
Darnold,
that's going to be $30 million. You're
certainly.
going to have to give. Why would you give a guy $30 million when you could bring in a rookie who's the best player, who's the best quarterback in the draft, or 30 or 40 million, whatever? Why would you not bring in the best player, the best quarterback in the draft with the number one pick if you have it on a rookie deal? Instead of going and giving Sam Darnold $40 million to bring in a guy who either plays corner or he plays receiver with the number one pick in the draft. To me, that makes no sense.
We're getting off track here. This is not about the Giants, okay? This is not about the Giants. The point is this. This is the point that you guys are missing.
Somebody hop on the Raider train with me. Get us a quarterback.
No. Okay, listen. Okay. Tom Brady gets paid $1 million to go speak at insurance conventions. And he talks about football. He knows nothing about insurance. Tom Brady gets paid $30 million, to do whatever. Time is money with Tom Brady. He has put a lot of time and effort into this young man. Okay. They've had dinners and lunches and conversations. Okay. It's naive to think that they have not, at this point, not saying it was preconceived 4 years ago. Okay. But this Tom Brady ownership thing has been in the works for 2 years. Okay. It's naive to think that Tom Brady and Deion Sanders have already not talked about this and visualized this and mapped this out. Tom Brady, his time is worth money. Now, this is a Godfather thing. This is why young people need to see Godfather. When you go and ask the Godfather for a favor, okay, he says, I will do you this favor in return. I don't know when, but maybe down the road, I am going to need you and I'm going to count on you and you better answer that call. This is Tom Brady, okay, getting payback or payment back and said, listen, I was there for you, okay? I was there for you when you needed me. And now I need you. So whatever you do, you talk to the people behind the scenes, put up the smoke screens, but, okay, it's time to pay the piper. And you will come and you will say what you have to say to come play for the Raiders. This is not me being a Raider fan. This is me being a father. And if my son had the option of being mentored by the best quarterback that ever lived or going to New York and being scrutinized and being put in too early, okay, because I'm sure Dion has made and Tom Brady have made assurances like, listen, I will not put him in too early. I will not, ruin his confidence. I will build him up. This is all part of the equation. This is time for Dion and Shador to pay back Tom Brady, and that's why he is coming to Las Vegas.
You think 6 years ago, Tom Brady had the foresight that he would be a part owner in the Las Vegas Raiders?
No.
Listen,
so then
they get the number one pick.
It's payback.
You need to hope that he's the number one pick, Eddie. I mean, you're throwing shit out there. That's fine. Listen, he mentored him, whatever the fuck. Doesn't matter. Peyton Manning's out there mentoring guys. The Denver Broncos aren't taking them. Like, dude, the Colts aren't taking them. I don't believe any of that mentor bullshit. You better hope the Raiders have the number 1 pick, because if they don't, that motherfucker's on the Giants. I'm sorry. I strongly believe that. There is no way in hell, in my opinion, that the Giants can move on from the best quarterback in the draft. You cannot do that if you're the Giants. Bottom line. It doesn't make any sense.
I agree with you there.
So
I agree with you
it
there.
makes no sense.
If
Let me go and not get anybody.
If they have the number 1 pick, they will try to draft Shador. That I agree with. Dion will have to pull some Godfather shit and say, "Listen, I don't want to make this a big deal or a big scene." But these guys are the Yellow Jackets. These guys all talk, and I just don't see any other way than Tom Brady saying, "Come over here, I got you." And why wouldn't Why wouldn't you want your son there?
Where is your son, realistically? And don't be naive when you answer this. Where is your son gonna shine the brightest if he shines? Is it in New York with the fucking 100 media members, or in Vegas with the 32 members of the media? Where is he gonna shine bright like a motherfucking diamond?
In the Super Bowl. In the Super Bowl, when he succeeds. With the Raiders.
Not with the Raiders. You can't even make the playoffs.
The Giants are 2-11. They have the same fucking record like the Giants.
They are. They have a terrible record. But the Giants also were in the playoffs 2 years ago. The Raiders haven't sniffed the playoffs in 4 years. Like, sniffed it. Like, they haven't even sniffed the shit.
New ownership, new coaching staff, the Raiders. It's a whole new regime.
New ownership.
Okay, so
where's the new ownership?
Tom effing Brady.
He's
the minority owner.
It doesn't say. Don't throw that shit away. He only owns 10%. Mark Davis already said, "I am putting him in charge of finding our quarterback."
He is going to have a lot of input.
Raider segment. He's
going to have a lot of input
when he quits Fox. And if he quits Fox and they get Shador, then I could see all of the shit that you're spilling here on this Raider segment that we're having, because it's not even anything else but a Raider segment and a full-blown Raider homer segment.
Tom Brady.
If you're a father, your son who's got
I don't want
the
him in
most
New York.
talent. Oh,
I don't want him in New York.
What do you see, CJ?
I don't want him in New York.
You want to put him in bubble wrap? Let me put him in bubble wrap. I don't want my son to go out there.
Chris Maddock 3000 said New York is a lost cause. It will be years before they become a destination. He said it on Instagram.
Listen,
they hated Eli Manning.
Eli won the Super Bowl. They hated him.
They
hated
him
because
and
Eli
was
hit or
miss.
They hated him.
They love him now.
Eli either threw 25 touchdowns or 25 interceptions in a season. It was either one. But guess what? When he got in the playoffs, that motherfucker steamrolled right over Tom Brady's fucking nuts. See you later. He even outfishes the man, baby. Come on.
I don't think Tom Brady's with Fox next year, honestly, because he's already super restricted. He doesn't look like he's having fun. That is for sure. He is hating it. But becoming an owner made him super restricted to the point where he can't be in meetings. He can't get any inside. He can't get any sort of intel. There's nothing that he could do. He might as well just go be an owner and maybe up his stake in the Raiders so he has a little bit more of a say. But like, he doesn't.
It's almost a brilliant move, Ryan.
The league should just let him sit in on those meetings.
He's going to get bought out for $15 million.
The league should just let him sit in on those meetings anyways. The Raiders are coached by Antonio Pierce. You can give him all the information. He ain't going to do a good job. It don't fucking matter. Here's what I got, Antonio.
Okay.
Not for long.
No, he gone.
All right. Well, speaking of quarterback talk, we'll move on to Mr. Ryan Holmes' team. We talked about it last week. Said that for Monday Night Football against the Raiders that the Falcons should have already moved to Penix Jr., but now they are officially naming Michael Penix Jr. the starter for the Falcons. How do you think that's going to go? What's the plan there?
I think it's lights out, honestly. And I honestly like thought a lot about it. And I'm in tune with literally every piece of content that the Falcons put out. Their think pieces from some of the people that I interviewed with when I was trying to get a job there, and or at least exchange emails with when I was trying to get a job there, and as well as Raheem Morris before the Raider game. And they were trying to give a veteran the benefit of the doubt, one, and they didn't want to look like they were wrong as well. And I don't think that they were wrong in signing Kirk Cousins. I really don't. I think that bringing in a veteran, allowing him to have a mentorship with Michael Penix, I think was a great move. I really do. I don't agree with the amount of money. I mean, that's hats off to Kirk Cousins' agent. That man should be in the Hall of Fame for the amount of money he's gotten him. It's damn near $400 million.
Jerry Maguire status.
But
almost all guaranteed.
Almost all guaranteed too. But I don't think it was a bad move to bring in Cousins. I think the only head scratcher of it is because he was coming off of an injury. But at that point, they're just like, he will have plenty of time to recover. We've seen plenty of people that do more with that injury. I mean, we've had running backs come back after Achilles injuries. And so I think that they kind of were just like, yeah, I think he can come back, especially because he's not a mobile quarterback. They weren't trying to make him a mobile guy. They weren't signing him to be that kind of guy. Zach Robinson wants a pocket passer. That's what he wanted. It's just the fact that you have to equate for there to be breakdowns in your offensive line. And when he's a statue back there and you have those breakdowns, it makes you look even worse. So I don't think that it was necessarily bad for them. I do agree with what Rafa said before, that it should have been time. It may be a game too late. The Raiders game probably should have been the time where they started Michael Penix. But I think they're also like, listen, if our veteran can't turn this shit around against a 2-11 team, we're going to have no choice. We're going to give you a little bit more slack in the rope. And if you do nothing with it, we're going to have to make the decision and move on from it. And I think that's what they did. It was a last chance for Kirk Cousins. And I love the move, even though I do think it is a game too late. I understand why it's coming a game too late. They wanted to see if he was able to get his confidence back against a team that didn't even have their big dog. And they gave up 4 or 5 sacks. So just a horrible game all around. It was painful to watch. It shouldn't have come down to a Hail Mary whatsoever, but they played soft-ass defense late in the game, which is what we've seen the Falcons do no matter who their defensive coordinator is over the last couple of years. So I love the move. I can't wait to see what Michael Penix brings. I think he's a lot more mobile. That arm is obviously way more live. He's the best deep ball thrower in the draft. And that move to draft him doesn't look like such a dumbass move anymore.
It's Ryan, it's hard for me, and you kind of said it, it's hard for me to pat them on the back and say, great job getting Penix. At the same time, you gave Kirk Cousins $100 million. Especially when you fucked my team. Penix.
It's always about the Raiders.
It is always about the Raiders.
About the Raiders.
Listen, Penix was second in Heisman. I thought he was the best thrower of the football in the draft. Yep. And I think he's going to do great things. I think he's going to be incredible. I don't think now this is a tough game. They have the Giants this week, do they not? This is a trap game. And DeVito is not going to be quarterback. What's
is
his
it Drew
name
Lock?
from
guy?
Drew Lock is starting.
Lock.
Who has a shit ton to prove. This is, especially after what we saw last week, this is going to be a tough game and would put, this would put all that shit talk to rest about who's going where and Deion Sanders and Shedeur Sanders. This is, to me, is going to be a very difficult game because Drew Lock has a shit ton tied up in bonuses. He remember, he took a team-friendly deal with a bunch of incentives. Drew Lock was actually highly sought after and had other deals for more money, but they gave him a bunch of incentives. And Drew Lock is like, I've seen Daniel Jones play. I'm going to get in this bitch. I'm going to have a chance.
Though?
Malik Neighbors.
No, he's getting locked down by AJ Terrell. Even if he
was,
was, even if he
AJ Terrell
was,
has not been that good this year.
stop it. How many catches? How many catches did Justin Jefferson have when AJ Terrell was on him during the Vikings game?
Hold on.
Was it 3 or 4?
It was.
Thousand.
I believe it was 1 or 2, and he did not light up anything. AJ Terrell's been shutting down number 1 wide receivers this year. He didn't have a great start, but as of late, nobody's challenging him. It's the same argument that AJ Terrell's not having a good season at corner. It's the same argument that these haters of Travis Hunter are out here saying, "Oh, look at how many pass deflections have." No, the reason he doesn't have all these PBUs is because nobody's testing him. You can't have stats if nobody's testing you.
I don't know.
That's
He's
just how it
33rd in
Like,
receptions allowed.
Trent McDuffie, all pro, St. John Bosco. He's maybe the best quarterback in the league right now. He's never had an interception in the freaking NFL. So I
He
agree
just
with
had
you
one
there.
last week, actually. He
AJ
just had one
Terrell's
last
shut
week,
down.
actually.
He's
Malik's neighbors.
Listen, they paid him all that.
That-
They paid him all that money, and he had to pony up at some point. He didn't look good to start the season, and then they were like, "Listen, you gotta really start doing your job." And he has been shutting people down. And he's a corner that is not afraid to hit guys. He comes up and puts it on guys as well. And we saw that last week. He laid a good hit when he wasn't getting a lot of attention in there either. So he's not going to have anybody to really throw. He's going to have to rely on some other guys. And I'm hoping that the defense, the secondary, isn't playing soft ass defense. That's like the number one thing for me, because AJ Terrell, he handles his on his side. It's the other side. We're going to need them high class safeties to do their job. You realize no one really throws the ball in the middle of the field against the Falcons. It rarely happens. The only team that really did it were the Chargers.
Is this game in New Jersey or is it in
Oh, this
Atlanta?
game's in
Atlanta.
Atlanta.
It's not Atlanta,
in
but I
Atlanta.
do.
Okay.
I have it on the script. We'll get
So-
to it a little.
All
So
right,
bit.
there
we'll get to
won't
that.
be there won't be airplanes flying signs over fucking Giant Stadium. Okay.
No, and there won't be any drones either.
Well,
No,
that's
no,
Yeah.
no Chinese drones hanging around either.
No drones.
But speaking of games of the week, it's actually a pretty good week again for NFL. It's starting to heat up. The more we go into it, Thursday night football. It's starting off with the Broncos in LA playing against the Chargers. Chargers are favored by 2.5 of the over/under of 42.
I'll go first. I think, Bo Nix is definitely a candidate to get Rookie of the Year, Offensive Rookie of the Year. That was a great comeback last week. I think the Chargers have kind of said, maybe next year. I feel like the Chargers have kind of just said, let's regroup. This is not going to be their year. In SoFi, there's going to be a bunch of, people that look like they're working traffic on the 110 freeway in their orange and fucking blue, or maybe bringing in planes or whatever in those horrible freaking colors uniforms. It's going to be just LA has a shit ton of Bronco fans, and it will be 100% a Bronco home game. And I think the Broncos are on the rise, man. Bo Nix has proven me that he could play in the NFL. He's another one of the examples that you must be mobile now to play in this NFL. You must be able to make plays off script. And Bo has 100% shown that. And I don't know how you don't take the Broncos in this matchup.
I agree with that. I'm taking the Broncos for sure. I don't think the Chargers have given up. I think it'll be. I don't think it's we'll get them next year kind of a thing for the Broncos just yet. I think they're going to put up a really good fight, but I don't think that they should be. I mean, they're favored in this? I don't think that they should be. The Broncos have looked really good, absolutely electric, and Bo Nix. I mean, he's in the Rookie of the Year conversation for a reason, and I think he's going to continue that. So I'm also taking the Broncos.
Well, this is definitely not we'll get them next year, because the Chargers are the 7th seed in the AFC, and they have a 2-game lead on the next closest team, which is the Colts, the Dolphins, and the Bengals. So this is a must-win for the Chargers. Last week, you had a little bit more of a, you had Tampa, Baker Mayfield, who's phenomenal, went in there and put the fuck to them. So I think it's going to be a close game. I think the Chargers can pull it out. I just don't. It's not wait next year. They get this win and a couple losses from the other teams, and they can seal up a playoff seed in the next week or two. So
does this
I
feel
don't think
like Rafa, does this feel like a playoff team to you?
No, there's a lot of teams that don't feel like playoff teams to me. There's a lot of teams that don't feel like they're playoff teams to me, and they are. So I mean, but they are 8-6, and the other teams are 6-8, I believe. So the three teams behind them, Miami had a game that they should have won, and they didn't. The Colts had a game they should have won. They should have been up 20-7, and they had a fumble, and all of a sudden it was a shit show. The Bengals are coming, but they're still 6-8, and they're behind on tiebreakers behind the Colts and the Dolphins. So they have a 2-game lead on the 7 seed. Right now, if we're looking at it, we can say the Bengals feel like a playoff team, but unfortunately, they're 6-8, and they got 2 teams in front of them that are 6-8. So San Diego's 2 wins away from locking up that spot. They're at home this week on a short week, and it's still Harbaugh, and I just don't think it's going to be a hands down. I don't think it's going to be a hands down Broncos win. So, and the Chargers are definitely playing for the playoffs. They're in a spot, and they control their own destiny. So it's not like, oh, we'll get them next year. No, it ain't that. It's a 7 seed right now. So give me the Chargers, baby. Let's go.
Damn. For me, Thursday Night Football, always look at the under,
Always
especially in
the
this
under.
game, especially with in-division rivals. Second time they meet up, love the unders. On Saturday, though, we got 2 really good games. Texans are facing the Chiefs in Kansas City. The line opened at +2.5 Chiefs, but then found out Mahomes was practicing full, so it's now Chiefs -3, over under 41.5.
Ryan, you want to go first?
Yeah, I want to speak to the conspiracy theories, though. I mean, I do think that there are some Chiefs conspiracy theories that do check out, but the fact that people think that every year Patrick Mahomes fakes some ankle injury so that they can look like underdogs, it's insanity. But the Chiefs have been playing championship football all year. And I say that because their defense they haven't scored over 30 points. They've been playing close games. They've been getting it done when they need to get it done. That's championship football, is getting the win when you need to get the win. And even though they may look the most vulnerable, it's also just finding a way. And they've been doing it all year. And I think the Chiefs continue to do it, whether Mahomes is 100% or not. We've seen him do it on a bum ankle, and I think he does it again. So taking the Chiefs, I think you take the points too. I think they cover. I think it's a 10-point win for the Chiefs, honestly.
Damn.
I agree.
Listen.
I agree with Ryan.
Go ahead.
I agree with Ryan because the Bills are a game behind, and the Bills own the tiebreaker. I don't think the Chiefs are going to lose a game for the rest of the season, because the Bills are right behind them. And so, and it's Ryan's 100% correct. Championship football by championship players, and especially at quarterback, baby. He's number 1, baby.
Look at that grin just slowly starting.
I love everything about Patrick Mahomes, and it makes it much more special when Eddie hates the man.
I don't think he's playing as well as everybody else, but he's doing.
There's no doubt about it.
He's doing what needs to be done in order to get his team wins, and everybody's stepping up. And like I said, you gotta win close games in order to win championships. It's just how it is.
Damn right. You tell him, Ryan. You tell him, buddy. You tell him.
Hey, I do believe there is some sort of conspiracy, though, of them getting favorable calls. That I will say. We've seen it way too many times that they do get favorable calls. However, you can't tell me that blocking a field goal late is a favorable call. You can't. Like
No,
that's
no.
stepping up and winning a game when you need to win a game, right? Like you can't tell me that even though as a Falcons fan, watching a flag not be thrown on a Kyle Pitts easily called pass interference,
Pass interference.
But then here's the thing: they have them in 4th and 1, and they run a damn speed sweep. Which every time the Falcons run a speed sweep this year, they have never converted on 3rd or 4th down. It never happened. They ran 2 of them against the Chargers, 1 of against the Chiefs. Every single time they try to go left to right, it's not. You got to go north south, especially with the running backs the Falcons have. But they step up when they need to step up. Falcons had chances. The Broncos had like these teams had chances to win the game, and the Chiefs stepped up to win them. I do think that they do get favorable calls, but I also think that they step up when they need to step up. And that to me is why I think that they're playing championship football.
Listen, Mr. Holmes, this isn't a Atlanta Falcons show, okay? It's not all about the Falcons all the time.
I threw in the blocked field goal too. Sorry, I should have threw in that the Raiders decided that they wanted to fumble the football and the quarterback decided to not pay attention to a snap.
It was a dead play.
A couple seconds
It was a
left.
dead play.
Not within those rules. It's not a damn play.
What you guys, I agree with everything that you guys said, except for one word. Okay, you guys keep on saying championship football. Championship.
They
football.
are.
No, it's championship defense. And this is why Patty Mahomes should not play. Carson Wentz, your defense. Listen, CJ, I agree. I think the Chiefs will win this game. Why? Because of Chris Jones and that incredible freaking defense. And CJ Stroud looks scared in the pocket. He looks scared in the pocket. Yeah. Go ahead. You don't have to listen, Rafa. I don't care what you say. You don't have to score 28 points to beat the Texans. It's too risky to have Patrick Mahomes out there.
You don't have to score 28 points to beat anybody this year. Like I said, they're one of 4 teams to not score over 30 points this year. All the other teams have 2 and 3 wins.
That's my point. Why risk putting them out there getting hurt even more when this is clearly a championship defense and it has been for 2 freaking years?
You keep saying that, but you know what I struggle to forget is I struggle to forget. Maybe I haven't seen it when Chris Jones drives the field to get him to kick a field goal at the end of the game. Oh, wait. No, wait. That's not Chris Jones. Or Chris Jones drives to beat the Bengals. Oh, no, wait. That wasn't Chris Jones either. None of those were Chris Jones. At the end of the day, listen, the defense keeps him in the game, and Daddy Mahomes wins the motherfucker. That's what it is. You can have
and you know how he's done it?
Listen, and he's not Trent Dilfer. And you're out here throwing it like he's fucking Jim McMahon.
No. And I'll agree with you. And even more, because it's the same fucking it's like an episode of Happy Days that you've seen 100 fucking times. And it's not
Eddie Money
Patty
doesn't know
Mahomes.
what Happy Days is, Ed.
Yeah,
it's all coming.
It is the exact same way they win. Okay, great defense. Patty Mahomes and that offense struggles. And then Mr. Mahomes makes a great 2 or 3 plays last drive with his feet. And that's why I let him heal, because he is deadly. He is deadly. Like I said before,
Eddie, you cannot afford to lose this game. You cannot afford to lose.
I don't think you will.
The number 1 seed is on the line.
The number 1 seed's on the line. I'm not trusting Carson Wentz with anything. Carson Wentz had a hell of a roster in Indianapolis, needed to win the last 2 games of the season to make the playoffs, and he lost. And he lost to lonely teams in Indianapolis against garbage-ass teams, and one of those games was at home. And I trust Carson Wentz to absolutely do nothing. I don't even trust Carson Wentz to walk my trash out on Thursday night for the fucking trash man to pick it up on Friday. Carson Wentz, 0 trust in that motherfucker. Well, I'm
not saying trust him. I'm not saying trust him, but
if you gotta play, you gotta trust him.
What is more, you need Patrick Mahomes to be mobile. That is their identity. That is their ace. Up there. It would, dude. He kills people, Rafa. They don't have 10-play drives of just perfect executed plays like the Detroit Lions. It's It's 2 plays a drive.
Yeah, they do.
Where Patty
They definitely
sees
have
no-
those drives, Eddie.
They definitely have 15 play drives, 17 play drives.
Yeah, they're longer
They have
drives.
them.
No.
They
I'm
have
saying they
8-minute,
do.
9-minute drives.
But no. I know they do. My point is this though: how many are 3rd and 8 and 3rd and 4 where Patty is off script and gets it with his legs?
That's fine. Nobody's
That's
denying
my
that.
point.
You cannot risk at this point in the season. There's 3 games left. You are playing for you cannot lose a game because Buffalo is probably not going to lose a game for the rest of the season. I don't know if they still play Miami, but they cannot lose a game for the rest of the season because Buffalo will own the tiebreaker. And then you risk not having the number 1 seed and getting a bye and playing at home.
Yeah, you want to hear the Bills next 3 games? It's the Patriots, Jets, Patriots. Mahomes is going to play.
Yeah, he's gonna play.
Who is it?
Lock up that 1
Jets,
seed,
Patriots,
and then
who?
you rest.
It's
They
Jets,
play the
Patriots,
Patriots
who?
twice and the Jets.
Yeah, so I mean, listen, those are probably 3 wins for Buffalo, and they're probably going to end at 15-2. There's no way that if you're the Chiefs, you can end at 15-2. Now, you throw Mahomes out there, they lose this game, fuck it. Next week you can sit him because they'll probably have the 2 seed. You cannot afford to sit him this week in this game at home. It cannot happen. You need this win. If you didn't need the win, if you were already tied with Buffalo, fuck it. You can sit him, but you cannot sit him. You cannot risk not having the bye.
Fully agree.
Okay. Will Anderson is freaking licking his freaking chops.
Will Anderson can lick all he wants. He can lick it all, the whole fucking rib if he wants, the whole shit, all the barbecue sauce. Mahomes is too. Gonna drop his nuts on him, baby.
The second
Chiefs.
game.
Singleton about to have 3 picks, man.
Not from Mahomes.
Next game of that day, a AFC North rivalry. Steelers going into Baltimore, and the Ravens are favored by 6 with over/under of 45.
What's the line?
Derrick Henry's gonna have more carries than Genty at the end of this game.
Oh yeah. Ravens.
It's
by a
Ravens
million.
-6.
He had
Huge.
13 carries the last time they played. That's why they lost.
Thank you, Ryan. I've fucking preached it on this show for fucking weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. Ravens by a million this week. By a million.
Wow. I'm
By a million.
I don't think that they cover. I think it's a closer game, but I also think that the Ravens control the tempo by giving the ball to Derrick Henry more. Like I said, anytime that Derrick Henry has less than 20 carries, they lose. I think that's what it is this year. Any of the games that they have lost, if you look at their losses, look at Derrick Henry's carries, and it's got to be less than 20.
I only just look at Lamar's pass attempts when they lose.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, that's another indicator. That is certainly another indicator. His pass attempts or Derrick Henry's carries will tell you whether they won or lost the game. Because when they control the tempo, when they give the ball to Derrick Henry, if he has 20 touches, they should win that game because they have controlled every single thing in that game. In that first game, Derrick Henry had some long runs, but he didn't have the quantity of carries that he normally has in the big wins or even in the wins that they've had so far this year. I do think that the Ravens have taken note of that. And also the Steelers probably aren't going to have TJ Watt, and they aren't going to have George Pickens, who was huge in that first game as well. So I think that's going to obviously hamper their offense and their defense, but this is going to be a Derrick Henry style of game where they're just going to hand the ball off. He's gonna have some pass attempts, certainly. Lamar's gonna run the ball as well, but it's gonna be a Derrick Henry game. Everybody knows it, and I mean, Mike Tomlin certainly knows that it's going to be a Derrick Henry game. So you might as well buckle up. You better throw in a double mouthpiece and tighten that chin strap tight because that big dude's coming down. He's coming down the alley, and it's not going to be pretty for anybody.
It's coming right down their throat.
Oh yeah. Nice and hot.
That's a Chris Collins.
That's a Chris Collinsworth play right there.
Chris Collinsworth, yeah.
Yeah.
I would just like to point out, in the Mike Tomlin era, Steelers are 13-2-2 against the spread as underdogs against the Ravens. and they're 5-0 against Lamar Jackson. 5-0 against
Have
the
you
spread.
guys? Have any of you guys seen the HBO Hard Knocks? They're doing the AFC North. It's so
No.
good. They're in meetings with Tomlin, Jameis Winston. They're covering all the teams instead of just doing one.
It's a good formula. I think they
dude,
should stick to it.
It is so great because
Jameis
it's less
Winston is a
intrusive, right?
godsend.
He is. Oh my god, I love him. He is must watch TV. But watching Tomlin and seeing him behind the scenes, it just my respect just grows for him, and he is so freaking good. But if you gotta watch it. It's just too good.
Yeah.
It's too good.
Moving on to a next high-powered matchup. The Eagles going into Washington. They're favored by 3.5. Over under 45.5. Eagles are favored by 3.5. My bad. Not Washington. Not the Redskins.
I think the Redskins are starting to fade a little bit.
Ryan, you called it last.
My opinion.
You think?
Fading.
Good. I hope they continue.
That's
to
not an
fade.
opinion. That's a fact. That is a 100% fact.
They should have lost that game. They should have lost that game. I think the Eagles are going to go in there and just drop the nuts on them. Plus, Eagles also
To the
playing for the
Bears?
number one seed. No, they were playing the Saints, and
Saints,
the Saint Rattler had that play at the end zone, which was a terrible play call.
Terrible
I agree
play
with
call.
going for two. I know Eddie didn't like them going for two. I like them going for two. I just didn't like the rollout. I hate when you shrink the
I
field.
hate that.
I agree.
I hate that, especially from the 2-yard line. Like shrink the field like that, and then that's if you're gonna do something like that, give me some guy in the middle on the other side.
That's college bullshit. That to go for two there. That's a college thing. That is a college thing. You can win the coin flip and then go score a touchdown and you're good. It's a college thing.
I don't agree.
You
with
don't
that.
do that in the NFL. That was
listen.
that was-
The rule was it's
a
kind of
fact.
it's not a rule. The unwritten thing was if you're at home, you go for the extra point. If you're on the road, you go for two to try and win it. I understand that part of it.
yes.
But you're the Saints. You're not buying for anything. Okay,
Thank
you're
you. Yeah,
literally
that's
you're not playing for anything. Let's not extend this shit and put our rookie quarterback out there to get the ball back and try and win it. Let's fucking win it right here with zeros on the clock. And that'll be a bigger accomplishment for the rookie to fucking lead a drive, get the touchdown with zeros on the clock, and win it right then and there. Plus, you also had the momentum. I mean, you had the momentum on that drive to win it right then and there. And if you were buying for something, a playoff spot or whatever, yeah, maybe you kick the extra point because you're at home. But other than that, I didn't disagree with it at all.
Well, clearly you had a genius play just dialed up for a certain situation.
Well,
I mean,
you
give
should have
me a
ran the play you
fucking
ran.
break.
You should have ran the play you ran for touchdown. Is the play you should have ran. I mean, you could have flipped it,
God.
but listen, it's an interim head coach, rookie quarterback, multiple rookie quarterbacks played that day. You don't have Taysom Hill. I mean, there's no Derek Carr. You don't have
Let's
a
get
starter.
back-
No.
Eagles by a million.
Let's get back on
Sunday,
Philly
too.
though. Philly.
Yeah.
Let's get back on Philly. They've had turmoil, right? There's been a ton of bullshit, in their locker room, but yet they seem to strive on it. But
They
can
squashed
we
it.
give some credit to Jalen Hurts? Can we give some credit
No
to Jalen
doubt.
Hurts, man? Like
We should give credit.
he's-
You know
I
what the
mean,
credit should be? The GM for bringing in
the
the perfect
the
running
Giants,
back.
the Giants GM, the Giants GM. That's who should get
Yeah.
fucking credit.
Let's give credit to
moron.
the Giants general manager for not signing Saquon Barkley and having 4 wins this year without a quarterback and then not having a chance at the number 1 pick. Good job, Giants GM.
You
Jesus.
just built a monster. This was the freaking piece to the puzzle that is making this team great. I mean, they have talent all over the freaking field, and this was the perfect thing. We've said it before. Saquon was just like the perfect thing for Jalen Hurts. The perfect thing. And AJ Brown, like you said, you called it. They got him involved early. He scored his touchdown. Kumbaya, everybody. But the Eagles in the NFC, they look scary right now, especially with the Lions and the injuries.
With Montgomery going down.
Yeah. Right now, man, the Eagles look prime.
There was
Yeah, the
ever a
Eagles are
time for
scary.
them to win the
But
Super Bowl. It's now.
You're in
Yeah.
Pennsylvania,
Well, at least
man. Talk about it.
I'm surrounded by Eagles fans. My family is either Cowboys fans or Eagles fans. I'm surrounded by them. My brother and I are the only two outliers. He's a Skins fan. I'm a Falcons fan. The rest of them, Eagles or Cowboys. But, man, I told you guys last week, second play of the game, I even called it 7 yards, second play within the first 5 yards, throw it to A.J. Brown. There you go. It's not going to look the same this week. They're going to probably throw deeper to him, whatever else, but they're going to continue the same chemistry. The turmoil was nothing. I think it was one game that it even really happened. I mean, they had a little bit of trouble in other games, but like, let's call it what it is. Like, it really truly wasn't a factor. I think the turmoil was more in the media than it was in that locker room. It was just, having trouble with
Mr.
your boy.
Holmes.
That's all it was.
Mr. Holmes, did you not see the fucking, I don't know, that coach almost kicked Sirianni's ass on the sideline?
I think Sirianni's the bigger problem than anything going on the field.
Yeah.
I think that's really is
agree.
the thing. I mean, he's chirping at fans, and now he's chirping at another coach, and he's the problem more than anything. And obviously, it was also reported that him and Jalen Hurts weren't getting along earlier in the season too. So just about everybody has had a problem with Sirianni. So I think that's probably the conversations that are being had. Is, listen, we have to make the plays out here. We can't allow what's happening on the sideline to dictate how, to spill over onto the field, right? And the things that are happening on the sideline is more. I mean, think about it last year. It was the bullshit with Big Dom, the security guard, Sirianni this year. Like, the stuff that happens on the field, they're fine. Yeah, you're going to argue. That's going to happen from the high school level on up. You're going to argue, but, like, go run the plays. You got a Heisman Trophy winner at one of the wide receiver positions. You got one of the best tailbacks in the business behind you that can close games out. And then A.J. Brown is an absolute monster. Like, you have zero problems. And then your defense is just about lights out. Like, just go play. Like, just go play the game, and you'll be absolutely fine. So I think they cover. I think this is another one just like the Chiefs. They win by 10 over the Skins, and call it a day, honestly. Eagles are dangerous. They're one of the top 5 teams, if not top 3 teams right now in the NFL.
Rafa, let me ask you a question, Rafa. This is for Rafa. Can you see a scenario or a situation where Sirianni is not the head coach next year, and maybe a guy like Ben Johnson?
No, because
Dude, the fans won't be upset.
I don't care what the fans
doesn't matter.
That's
they're winning.
People always say, "Oh, what the fan? Fuck the fans." You know what? At the end of the day, it's the NFL. The NFL fans can go fuck themselves. The NBA fans, they need them because they got to pay the players and they got to pay those expensive ass ticket prices. The NFL teams could give 3 fucks about the fans realistically. They can look at the Steeler fans. All the ones that you talk to always want Mike Tomlin fired. The man is a winning machine. Okay, he makes you relevant every year. Sirianni's 12-2. 12-2 is probably gonna be 13-2. Probably gonna end the season 14-3 or 15-2. They're vying for a number 1 seed. You cannot fire a coach.
We all just said that he's at the bottom of every issue.
Why not be at the bottom of every issue? They're 12-2. They're 12-2.
But is he the reason? But is he
the head coach? He's the head coach.
He's got to play some small part, at least.
At the end of the day, listen, the game plan still's going through him. The players aren't in there fucking drawing up the game plan. He's the one doing it. Him and the other coaches. It's not the players. The players are out there to execute, and they have a phenomenal roster on the offensive side of the ball, probably the most talented in the league. At wide receiver, they're phenomenal. The running back is lights out. So he's orchestrating this whole thing. Whether he's arguing with the fans or with another head coach or whatever, I don't see them firing him. Like, if you fire him, it'd be a terrible look on you because the head coach that goes in there could say, oh, fuck, I can't even yell at my quarterback, or I can't yell at another coach and go 15-2 and possibly NFC Championship game, and I could get fired. Like, what precedent are you setting for the next head coach? It doesn't make any sense for them to want to fire him. I don't ever believe in firing a coach.
First round bye or first round and out, he's safe no matter what.
Yeah. I mean, it depends. First of all, you're going to have a home game, more than likely. You're going to host a home game. They're arguably playing. They're playing lights out, right? So the likelihood of them losing in the first round doesn't seem likely. But even if they do, a 14-3 head coach or a 15-2 head coach, you cannot fire him, because what does that set the bar for the next guy coming in? What does it say?
Or the rest of the
2 words. Marty Schottenheimer.
Marty Schottenheimer went 14-2 and could not win a goddamn playoff game. Marty Schottenheimer could never win, and we know that. It doesn't matter where it was at. Cleveland, it didn't matter. Marty could never win this. Trust me, I had season tickets for those Charger team. He was atrocious. He was a guy get to the 2-yard line with the best running back in the league and wouldn't hand him the goddamn ball. So, I mean, Marty, the exception, and Marty was also an older man on the way out. So that might have been mutual, actually. I don't think they, but anyways, Sirianni finishing at 14-3 or 15-2, possibly a number 1 seed. It would be ridiculous for you to fire him, because then, listen, at the end of the day, he's the one orchestrating the whole team, the whole thing. It just is what it is. You can say, as good as Jalen Hurts has been, and as good as Saquon and AJ Brown and all the guys, Devontae, and everyone that you listed, and the defense and everyone. At the end of the day, the one who's putting in the game plan is the head coach and the two coordinators, or whatever the fuck, how many they have. Those are the guys putting in the game plan. The players execute them. That's it. Jalen Hurts is not sitting there going, this is what we're doing on Sunday. This is our first drive. That's not what he's doing. We know that. So Sirianni needs some sort of respect there for going 12-2 so far. And if he ends 14-3 or 15-2, there is no way in hell, even with a first round exit, that you can fire him. It would not look good. That's my opinion.
If they laid an egg this year, he would have been out the door so fast. Because they were really good last year. They were part of that same thing that everybody's talking about with the Chiefs this year, where they're super vulnerable and everything else.
Exactly.
But they were undefeated. They were like 10-1, but they were winning ugly games, and it just didn't look right. Yeah. And it was very different than what the Chiefs are doing this year. But it was part of that same kind of narrative. If they came back this year and laid an egg, and he was arguing with the fans, and he's arguing with coaches, and we're hearing that there's turmoil in the locker room, not just between Jalen and Devontae or AJ Brown. There was turmoil between him and Sirianni. Sirianni's out before the season's even over. They're not letting that happen, especially not in Philly. I mean, they threw snowballs and shit at Santa Claus. Do you think that they're going to let Sirianni be around if they're laying eggs in Philadelphia? No, not happening. Right. Not happening at all. So winning definitely cures all. He can continue to argue with coaches and argue with fans. As long as they win, he will be just fine, even if they have a first-round exit, which they definitely won't have. I think they probably should make it to the NFC Championship, to be honest.
And I will tell you this. I will give you this, though. I think if they get to the NFC Championship game or this year or lose in the second round or whatever, and next year they come out and they start flat, at 2-5 or 3-6, whatever, 4-7, then I could see them firing them. It'll be easy to move on. I don't think you can move on from a guy who wins 14 or 15 games.
And then the excuses of he was arguing with people and this, that, and whatever will come into play next year if that happens.
Right.
Here's why I ask you guys this, okay? Because Ben Johnson, okay, if you know he's an issue and your team is really good, why not pull a Bill Belichick and cut a guy 1 year early when you have possibly the hottest offensive mind and head coach candidate in some time now, and go get Ben Johnson? I'm just saying,
because
let the record reflect. Let the record reflect. Shanahan hot seat. Sirianni is not on the hot seat.
No, because and I'll tell
I
you,
think
I'll
it
tell
is.
you why. I'll tell you why, Ed. Because with all of the shit going on the sidelines and with all the fans are this and that, they're 12-2. It has not been an issue. Period. It's not affecting his locker room at the end of the day. They put the fuck to the Steelers this weekend. Like it didn't affect them at all. None of this has affected them on the field. So if it's not affecting you on the field, who gives a fuck if the guy's out at 4 a.m. fucking hookers too? Nobody cares. You should care. That's just the truth. So I don't care. And by the way, I'm gonna tell you, it's just when you brought
Okay.
up Ben Johnson.
I thought it was interesting.
told you
I
that
thought it
last-
was an interesting.
I think Ben Johnson's holding out for Dallas. I really do. I believe that
Don't
last
say.
year. I believed it last year when I'm sorry. I believe Ben Johnson's holding out for Dallas. I thought last year, we knew last year he should have got a job anywhere. He would have got a fuck ton of money. I think he's holding out for Dallas. And if Shanahan's somehow fired by the Niners, which I think he should be, I think that the Niners make a play for Ben Johnson as well. But I don't think it's the Eagles.
That makes sense.
Oh,
That makes sense.
but I
Well,
strongly believe Ben Johnson
You're
wanted the
you're
Cowboy job.
you're Ben Johnson. You're Ben Johnson to Dallas. I've heard you give we've done the show almost 2 years. That to me is the craziest take that you've ever given.
I know,
Ever
because you gave me
given. And
my Lincoln Riley take, according to you guys, was insane a year and a half ago. Not so much today. My Trevor
There's-
Lawrence take 2 years ago, not so much today.
you know,
I'm telling you, it just makes sense for me. Why would Ben Johnson not come out last year and take one of the jobs that was available?
I think Shanahan still has
and he-
1 year left, honestly, before he's out.
I'll-
Shanahan has 1
Shanahan?
year.
I think Shanahan with the injuries, I think they have 1 year left. But I think Dallas will move on.
who deserves it?
Dallas deserves to move on from Dallas needs to move on from McCarthy, and I really believe that was what Ben Johnson was holding out for. I strongly believe Ben Johnson is a cocky motherfucker. When you watch him play call, his cockiness is like 3rd and 8 from the 40. I'm running it because I'm gonna get it because I'm a bad man. Me throwing fucking to the offensive tackle for a touchdown against Dallas was a sign of, look at what I can do, Jerry, to your fucked up ass coach.
Yeah, but I think that's also a philosophy that they have, though. I think it's a little bit different. I don't think he brings that to Dallas. I think that is what that coaching staff and that team brings specifically in Detroit. I don't think that he can take that, and I don't think he can take that to Dallas. It's a different mindset. It's a different mentality. It just works in Detroit because Detroit has that chip on the shoulder type of play and type of guys. It does not work in Dallas. It doesn't. It really, truly
Dallas was
doesn't.
a high-powered offense. Dallas was a high-powered offense last year. Dak finished, I think, second in the MVP voting. They were high-powered. All they needed was a running back. So
Yeah, but they didn't have that. They didn't have that
weapons.
FU style though. They were high-powered, but they didn't have
They
that FU. We're better than you.
Because Mike McCarthy doesn't bring that. I'm better than you. Dan Campbell and fucking
Dan
Ben
Campbell
Johnson,
does.
and so does Ben Johnson. You can tell in Ben Johnson's play calling when it's where he's getting to a point where it's like, "Fuck you, we're better."
Yeah,
This
but
is
that's what I'm
we're
saying.
doing. I watched that man run. I
works
watched him
in
run play
Detroit,
last year
though.
against the Chargers. Dude, it works because Ben Johnson makes it work. That's what I believe.
Yeah,
That's
when he
what
lines up your offensive tackle as a wideout and then scores, it's kind of like a
Bro,
fuck you right
and
there.
when you're running on 3rd and 8 from the 40-yard line, and you're gonna get, and you get 11 on 3rd and 8 when you have a fucking stellar wide receiving core and a top 10 quarterback, and you decide to run the ball and you get 11, like that is just it's kind of like I'm dropping my balls on the defense is what I feel with Ben Johnson, and I believe he wants that Dallas job to prove everyone wrong in a team who hasn't made an NFC title game since fucking 5 years before Eddie Money was conceived. Maybe 7. I don't know what year Eddie Money was born, but probably 7 years before Eddie Money. 02, 7 years. 7 years
02.
Eddie Money before
Goodness
you were
gracious.
conceived. 7 years.
I heard Steve. Yeah, I heard Steve Young today on, I believe it was Dan Patrick. He was amazing, by the way. Steve Young was great on that show today. And he said something that made perfect sense. First of all, Jerry Jones and the Dallas, why he's not going there. They're in salary cap hell. They have no money for next year. You still got to sign Parsons. That's a whole nother issue. But the biggest issue with the Dallas Cowboys is that they haven't, and this is not my words, this is Steve Young's words, a Hall of Famer. Super Bowl champion, 2-time MVP. He said Dallas's issue is that they haven't had a head coach since Jimmy Johnson in 30 years that walks into that locker room and can say, fuck you, you're off the team. That has the authority and the hammer to say, this is my fucking team. You're sitting, you're starting, because it's Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones will continue to put puppets ever since he put Barry Switzer in and won a Super Bowl with Barry Switzer while Barry Switzer was eating a fucking hot dog, in the third quarter. I mean,
Don't do that motion, Eddie. Don't
Troy,
do that.
at that point, there was at that point, there was veterans up and down that lineup. You've seen the clip where Troy Aikman is. No one's holding anyone accountable here. He's yelling at Switzer. That is the issue with the Dallas Cowboys. Is that
I'll tell you,
Jerry Jones wants to be and Ben Johnson? Why would you go there if your balls are going to be cut off? And you're saying that he has huge balls. His balls will be cut off if he goes to Dallas.
Listen, Steve Young's comment was inaccurate as fuck, because I don't know if everybody forgets that Bill Parcells was the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys and did whatever the fuck he wanted. Or did Steve Young forget that part of it? He didn't win, but he did whatever the fuck he wanted.
How long ago was that? He said the last 30 years. How long ago was that?
It was before 30 years, because that team was before 30. It wasn't 30 years ago. It wasn't 30 years ago for sure, because that team.
And Parcells got the fuck out of there because of that.
After like 4 seasons, though. After 3 or 4 years, and he didn't 3 or 4, but he didn't win. But that dude, Ben Johnson, I believe in my mind, I strongly still believe it, that Ben Johnson wanted the Cowboy job, and I think that's where he's going to go. But that's
Parcells was the last guy that could do that, though.
Well, Bill
that was the last guy
who can do that.
No. I'm saying Parcells was the last guy that was allowed to do that in Dallas, that had the head coaching job in Dallas. Since then, it's been nothing. Like, he had Jimmy, he had Parcells, and those guys outshined him. And I mean, if you can't, think of the guys. Jason Garrett, who was their head coach. Like, just stop. He doesn't want guys that are bigger than the star. That's not what he wants. And you can see that. It's apparent. They're not going to succeed until Jerry gets the hell out of the way. It's not going to happen, because Jerry always has to be the top dog. He's got to be, I sign the checks around here. This is my team, blah, blah, blah. Like, that's him. No other owner or GM has a press briefing after every game.
And a radio show, by the way.
And a radio show.
Right? Where he's basically MFing the host and telling him he can replace them. Like, just stop.
I agree. Jerry Jones is the problem. I said it a couple weeks back that Jerry Jones is the problem. I believe Jerry Jones is the problem. But still, you need a man, the head coach. Ben Johnson is the guy. That's my opinion.
Well,
I'm riding with it.
We bounced around a little for that one. But this next game is very important to me and Eddie, and for the future of many different teams.
Jesus.
The Jaguars play the Raiders in Las Vegas. Raiders are favored by 1, over under 39.5. Battle for last place right here.
This is going to be worse than the Falcons-Raiders game on Monday night.
Oh, God. That was so bad, Ryan.
Hot garbage. I got my 2 picks from Desmond Ritter.
There you go. I mean, Mac Jones and AOC on a bad wheel. I mean, super.
Is he back in, or are they going back to Ritter?
He's looking to play.
He's gonna play.
Oh man, give me the Raiders. I want the Raiders to play this game. Let's go Raiders and let's go Falcons, baby.
Oh man.
No. Listen, the Raiders have put 2 guys on IR. The Raiders understand the assignment. Fucking Ritter almost blew it, by the way. That last play, if Brock Bowers turns his head a half a second, he's catching that touchdown, that Hail Mary, and just, oh my God.
I was so mad that there was an interception and it wasn't knocked down. I got my 2 picks, but I was like, what are you doing?
Yeah. This is
I'm really
crazy
hoping we do not win this one.
because someone has to win this game. Someone has to win it. Neither team wants to, but this is going to be crazy, man. We might see a water boy on both sides. We're just going to punt the ball on first down every fucking
Listen, if
possession.
Antonio,
I have no opinion on this game. I don't know.
This is Antonio Pierce's Lovie Smith moment right here. They
I
want
thought
me
you
out.
there.
They want me out, and I know I'm out. I'm gonna go out and fuck the Raiders, doggy style, and fucking win this game. I hope the Raiders win because I want the whole Shador to the Giants fucking thing to play out. I might start a jersey campaign on Sanders jerseys with fucking Shador. Let me know the number you're gonna wear in New York, baby. What do you want it to be? My God, 12. Let's do 12 for Shador. Fuck it, Tom Brady. But dude, listen, give me the Raiders.
Will nailed it. Both. They literally scheduled 2 games Monday because they knew it would be trash, and it was worse than trash. I've watched Mac games on Wednesday that were way better. But you know, here's the deal with this whole situation, and I a bunch of Raider. I don't know if you guys saw this, but it was released that Antonio Pierce was out till 3 a.m. gambling at the Wynn 2 days or 1 day, and it got released, and in the Raider social media circles, it looked like a hit job. If there's video, who knows when it was, but it looks like a hit job, and this would seal the deal. It would seal AP's fate if he was out till 3 a.m. 2 nights, even 3 nights, 3 a.m. gambling at the Wynn. And there's video, and I've seen the video, but you can't tell. It could be from anything. But this is, it's a great point. What you said, Rafa. This could be a Lovie Smith, like, F you guys. If I'm going down, we're going down with the W.
This is it, right?
That's
here.
A great point.
Dude, give me the Raiders on Sunday, baby. I'm gonna be watching this game. It's gonna be the worst game of the weekend, and I'm gonna watch it and cheer on the fucking Raiders. Like, dude, like if I was tatted up and I was from fucking Highland Park, not even Glassell Park, Highland Park, before it was gentrified.
Damn.
Yeah, exactly. Let's go Raiders. Yeah. Let's go Raiders.
And then,
plus it makes great content for the group chat.
Oh yes,
it does.
And then, speaking of the Giants play Mr. Holmes' Falcons with the Penix-led team. Falcons favored by 8.5. The over/under 42. But you guys were talking about it earlier. You think this game is going to be closer than it seems?
Here, let me. I didn't give my opinion on the Penix thing today. I gave it last week, but I think that
I'm gonna go take a piss. You guys know that.
I think they're gonna. I think it's gonna be like a shot of energy for the team. I really do, on both sides of the ball. I think getting the rookie in there, I think it's going to be a little bit different. I think it's going to be great for the team. I think they're going to put up a shit ton of points. I think they're going to play solid defense. I think they win this game by 2 touchdowns, to be honest with you. And I'm not a Falcons fan. Not a Falcons fan. That's Mr. Holmes here. But I do have a Michael Vick jersey behind me.
But you have a Mike Vick signed jersey to Mike Vick signed
yes, right behind me. I'm not a Falcons fan, but I love Michael Penix. And listen, you guys were talking about earlier how Eddie said, they might look dumb because signing Kirk Cousins. My mindset with Atlanta was they were a quarterback away. That's what I thought. They thought that's what it looks like they thought in signing Kirk Cousins, and also drafting Michael Penix, and with the security of we have a guy who's played the national championship game. He's been in the Heisman race, etc. And I still think it was a good draft pick for them. And no matter what happened with Kirk, it's a perfect spot for Penix and the Falcons. I think it's a great job by them. And hopefully they come out, and I think they will come out with a lot of energy, a different sort of excitement, and a different look at quarterback. And I think Atlanta should be very excited for the Falcons to end the season here.
Yeah, the fans certainly are. Everybody was clamoring for it, and I honestly didn't even know. Eddie put it in the group, and that's how I knew, because we were shooting the my other podcast last night when I saw the text come through, and I was like, oh, I guess this actually did happen. First of all, I had to verify it first. I couldn't just be like, I don't know.
Me too.
Because I was like, I don't know if Eddie's bullshitting me right now. I got to look this
Mr.
up.
Holmes, I'm not a good enough source. Come on, man.
I didn't know if you were bullshitting or not.
Journalist always checks his sources.
Always listen. I got to double down. You got to let me know if these are real or not. But no, I honestly think that they will win the toss and put the offense on the field first. That's my call this week, and that he scores a touchdown on his first drive. I think that's they have a good first 15. The only thing that had me a little bit worried is that they didn't fully practice today. They did a walkthrough so that he could get acclimated and go through his reads and go through his checks and everything else. But no, I think he's going to be ready, honestly. I think he really is. That arm is certainly live. I think the number one thing is obviously chemistry with those wide receivers. The run game is going to be something that he can certainly rest on between Bijan and Algier. It's something that I think any quarterback would be in a great situation with having those two guys, running the ball behind him. And I think we're actually going to see Mooney do what Mooney was brought to the Falcons to do, which is be a deep ball threat. He hasn't truly been a deep ball threat because Kirk hasn't been able to truly throw the deep ball. Every single one of Kirk's passes was floated. Even the one last week to London was floated.
Yep.
Props to Bijan for picking up that defensive tackle, or else Kirk is not getting out of there to throw that floater to London. But the ball's going to get on these wide receivers quickly, and they're going to have to be used to catching a ball that comes from a live arm. And, like I said, it's all going to be about chemistry, and I hope that they do cover the spread. Honestly, obviously, I am taking the Falcons, but I would be surprised if it was still a one-score game just based on how the Falcons play and how when they get up into a comfortable lead, the defense plays soft and plays not to give up, the big play instead of staying aggressive. So, I hope Rafa's correct, but I do think that they win the toss, they go down the field, they score early, and it energizes that defense. Defense is going to be looking for another 4-sack game. In the last couple of weeks, nobody else but the Falcons has had as many sacks as they've had. The D-line has been live. They found out how to pressure with their linebackers. And, it's also going to help that there's not really good quarterback play right now for the Giants. So I'm hoping that Penix is really a shot of adrenaline to not just the offense, but the defense as they see how live the offense is playing.
I think the entire 53. And I think Kirk's going to be there on the sideline supporting them 100%. So, at the end of the day, I think Kirk understands that he's done. I think he's going to be a great mentor for the kid. And I'm sure he's already has been.
And that's what they wanted.
So, yeah, it was a great job by the Falcons.
You know what? My only issue with the Falcons, because you look at that roster, you say Mooney, Drake London, it's that I feel, and I watch them play, and I'm like, why aren't they a running run? I mean, Bijan is incredible. Algiers is incredible. I feel like they have an identity crisis because you do have Drake London, you do have Pitts, you do have Mooney, and they feel like, oh, we're not using our weapons. They need to just say, you know what? And I think this might settle it with Penix. And Penix has an incredibly live arm. They need to say, you know what, Michael Penix, we are choosing to be a running team, sort of like Green Bay has done. Even though Jordan Love is great, they've established that we're going to run the ball because we can. And you have, Bijan is, dude, he's so freaking good, man. He's a difference maker. He is so good. And your backup is a freaking tank. Algiers is a scary. So
he had 1,000-yard rushing season as a rookie.
Yeah. And that's my thing. Be a running team. Find your identity. And fucking Falcons.
It's been all about quarterback play, and I think Penix gives them the quarterback play that they want. That's really truly what it is.
How have you guys beat Tampa Bay twice? Because I loved
that. Was early. That was early.
Because Kirk was still playing like Kirk Cousins at that point, right? He wasn't. He really was.
Happened after. Yeah.
everything happened after that. It was the Saints game that I think really
That's
crushed
what
them.
started it.
The Saints game really crushed them because they were on a 7-game losing streak and couldn't do a thing. It was still a 1-score game, but you got to go in and you got to sweep the Saints. I would much rather them sweep the Saints every year than sweep the Bucks. I honestly thought when we did our prediction at the beginning of the season that they would split with both the Saints and the Bucks and that they would sweep the Panthers. But yeah, Kirk was being the guy that they brought him in to be. But I honestly think that, one, he lost his confidence, and two, there's something physically wrong with him. Even though he says that there's something physically wrong with him, whether it's mental or like his body physically can't do it. There's something up that needs to be fixed and needs to be changed. But I think Penix is going to seriously do some damage, and I hope they throw a bomb on the first play of the game. That's what I would do. I would honestly do that. This is what you guys wanted. This is what you guys wanted to see. I'm going play action, and I'm rolling him out, and I'm throwing a post to Mooney all the way down the field.
He throws a post and post corner better than I've ever seen anyone ever throw a post and post corner.
Hey, you love those corner balls, huh?
I do love the corner balls.
He does.
Going into the last game on the docket, we have both teams are 6-8. The San Francisco 49ers going into Miami to play the Dolphins. Dolphins favored by just 1 with over under of 44.5.
The Niners need this game.
They needed last game.
He needed last game.
They needed last game.
They need every single one now, but I mean, even more so. I'm saying the Niners need this more than the Dolphins do.
Listen, let's not talk about this stupid ass game.
Tyreek Hill.
Let's talk about what's
on the
real.
breach of not being on the team.
Yeah,
he wants out. He wants to go back to Kansas City.
He wants out.
Oh, he wants out.
He wants to go back to KC.
In South Florida for him. He's
had more kids than touchdowns this year.
Yeah, and the Cuban cops do not like him.
They're racist. Facts.
Listen, well, there's stories. When you talk about this game, there's only one freaking issue, and we talk about it over and over again. And I keep on saying it over and over again. How can you strap this team and pay Brock Purdy $50 million?
No, we're not doing this again.
Okay.
We can't. I feel like we've done it like every single week.
Listen, it's Kirk Cousins and it's Dak Prescott. That's why you can pay him that money, because neither one of those guys has been to a Super Bowl like Brock Purdy has in the first 5 years. He's still in a rookie contract, and those guys, and Dak Prescott is your highest paid player in the league right now. And
but if you know it didn't work, but if you know it didn't work, why keep on repeating the same mistake?
What do you mean? What didn't work? What didn't work?
Paying Trevor Lawrence, paying Dak Prescott.
Paying Trevor Lawrence was stupid because he didn't prove a damn thing. That was stupidity.
Won one playoff game. He won one playoff game. Joe Burrow had one playoff run, and that was it. He faded not that he faded. The team just hasn't won. So, I mean, all those guys that you're naming, they still deserve it, Eddie. I mean, you can say whatever. The man went to an NFC Championship game and a Super Bowl. Bottom line,
what I would do.
This is third year.
I would say, listen, Papa, I'll give you $25 million, and then I would draft Jackson Dart.
Right.
Are you fucking out of your mind? Purdy wouldn't touch that. Listen,
he's getting franchise tag. First of all,
he's not getting franchise tag because he's not a free agent. So you can't franchise tag a player who's not a free agent. So
wouldn't he be? Isn't he on his? Isn't this year his last year of his contract?
This is his third.
No.
Yeah, I thought it was a.
This is his third season. This is it. It's his third season. I think he has.
Oh, so I don't pay him then. He's gonna hold out.
Listen, it's not about him holding out.
So you're saying he's gonna hold out?
I would. If I'm Brock Purdy, 100%, I'm holding out. I would. No doubt about it. Why would I not hold out? You
He
have
was
to
the
know
last
your
pick
worth.
in the draft, and he took you to a Super Bowl. You're going to pay that man. You're
There's
paying
no
him
doubt about it.
peanuts
I
right
don't
now.
understand, dude. Like, I don't understand how Eddie doesn't like comprehend that. Like, there are so many trash
I just-
quarterbacks in the NFL that are paid that have
Look.
accomplished
Do you-
none.
have you-
of
Look,
what
Eddie,
he's
Eddie,
accomplished.
Have you watched
What
him?
if the Raiders? What if the Raiders though? What if they got a quarterback in like the last? Let's say 2 rounds. Let's
say
not
this
give
was
last round.
AOC. Let's
And
say
he
this
took
was
it, yeah.
AOC,
And he
leads
took
them
us to the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
We're
you're
paying
I
him.
could still see with my 2 eyes. With my
That-
2
that-
eyes, I could see that AOC is trash. I'm one of the Raider fans that could actually see AOC he's not the answer. I have eyeballs. I watched
But he
Brock
let
Purdy
us.
with his
He would
tiny.
have theoretically. let us
I
see
don't
Super
care
Bowl.
what he fucking did. I know what he did. You don't have to keep on telling me what the fuck he did. I know what the fuck he did, and I told you why the fuck he did it. Okay, I'm telling you guys that I see with my own 2 eyes his tiny little fucking hands. He went 0 for 7 for passes over fucking 20 yards. I know fucking Debo dropped an important ball. I know Jennings dropped, but he is still not the fucking answer. And if you know he's not the answer, then why double down and give him $55 million? That's up. I don't get it.
But
I don't
but
get
you
it.
don't know that you don't know
Draft
that he's
Jackson
not
Dart.
the
You
answer.
can't tell me that
You
Jackson Dart
don't
is
know.
not.
I don't know.
I've seen
You
it.
cannot
I've
tell
seen
me.
it.
You cannot tell me that he's not the answer because he went to with
I
a
saw
healthy
it all
roster. He
season.
still led the team to a Super Bowl. He still led the team to a Super Bowl with a healthy roster. With a healthy roster, he didn't lose a game that he completed in his first season. And he didn't lose a game that he started and finished. He didn't lose one. So I don't understand where your argument is. You may not like the guy. I don't like the guy. I don't think
I
he's
love
phenomenal.
him. I think he's a beautiful young Christian man.
But
I
you
think he's a
cannot deny. You
beautiful man.
cannot deny. You cannot deny that him with a healthy roster was a Super Bowl contending team. You cannot deny that with a healthy roster, he was top 5 in every offensive category last season. You cannot deny that.
Not just with the healthy. I can't deny it. You're right. He had the most talented roster in the NFL, and that is the reason why he had so much success.
Yes, and Sam
they're not
Darnold
going to
has
be. And my point is this,
Darnold-
and you just proved my point. And you just proved my point, Rafa, that paying him $55 million a year, he will no longer have the most talented roster. He will not have.
He doesn't
Trent
need
Williams
the talented
watching his
roster
back.
for him to be successful. He doesn't need the talented roster on the offensive side of the ball. I mean, on the defensive side of the ball. The defensive side of the ball didn't help him be top 5 in every offensive category last year. It was the healthy side of the offensive side of the ball, which is already paid. They're already paid. Christian McCaffrey and that piece of shit Brandon Ayuk is already paid. Debo Samuel is not good, and they paid him a couple years back. So that, with a healthy offense, which they have already paid, he showed that he was a top 5 quarterback statistically and led them to the Super Bowl. When they needed a comeback, whether you want to believe it or not, ball off the helmet or whatever, Eli won the Super Bowl with a ball off the helmet. So a ball off the helmet of the defender. He led the comeback against the Lions. Whether you want to believe it or not, it was a tip ball or whatever. It's part of the game. But there's no denying that with the offensive roster that he has, if they're healthy, he's a top 5 statistical quarterback. He's already shown you that. He
I don't want to hear
show
from you
anymore.
This is a broken record. I want to know what Ryan Holmes thinks. I want to know what
that
Ryan
he's going to
Holmes
be
thinks.
paid. That he's going to be paid. Yes, he will be paid. And I said the 2 quarterbacks why he's going to be paid. Dak Prescott has never been to a Super Bowl.
He been an NFC playoff game, a title game.
Thank you. Kirk Cousins, neither one of those either. Hasn't done it. Paid 4 years, $180 million. What do you think they're going to do for Brock Purdy? A guy that they literally were like, you know what? Let's bring him in because he might be a viable backup. And he was like, well, I'm actually just going to stack wins now. And then I'm going to take you to the NFC Championship. Oh, shit, I got hurt. I'm going to take you back to the NFC Championship. And this time we're actually going to win it and go to the Super Bowl. Like, stop. If you don't pay him, you're basically saying that anything that he has done does not matter.
No, if you
can't
don't pay
say that.
him, this is what I'm saying.
Thank you, Ryan.
If you don't pay him, I'm thinking Coach Shanahan is saying, if I did this with this dude, just wait till I get a guy who's actually 6'3" and has
For
fucking,
what?
That
To
is
teach
that
him
is
the offense?
for
Like-
what? Trevor Lawrence is 6'3". All those guys are 6'3". That whole 6'3" bullshit, bro.
It's out the window.
It's out the window. Drew Lock. Oh, he's 6'3", 6'2". Who gives a fuck? Drew Lock sucks dick. Gardner Minshew, AOC, all of those guys, they all suck dick too. They all suck dick. Sam Darnold has been trash.
Have you not
this year?
Have you not watched Brock Purdy play? Have you guys not?
Eddie,
Have you not watched him play this
I've
year?
watched Brock Purdy play.
Yeah, I watched him throw to
receiver.
Ricky
This year.
Pearsall, fresh off a bullet wound.
Thank you. And a third string receiver.
This
and your
year.
Third receiver, Eddie.
This year.
This
Rookie
year. And with
Ricky
a healthy
Pearsall.
roster,
Jennings,
dude, Eddie, look at what Sam Darnold
not-
is doing with Minnesota. He's doing it with a roster of talent. He has the talent. Put him on the Jets. Oh, wait, we've seen that already. Put him on the Carolina Panthers. We've seen that shit already. Brock Purdy with the talent. He showed you he leads the team to the Super Bowl.
you guys
And he
keep
was top
proving
five.
my point. You guys keep on proving my point. Okay,
You're talking
Sam
about
Darnold is not
roster,
getting
whatever.
paid 55. You guys,
Sam
he's
Darnold
not
hasn't
getting
been
paid $55 million. That's why.
Sam Darnold was not undefeated for the first 15 games that he
I'm tired.
started.
Listen, can I say this? This is all I want to say. 49er fans, I have tried to save you. I have tried to
God.
help you out. Everyone wants to pay this man, and then you will all have to pay the consequences later on. I've tried to tell you and save you from paying Brock Purdy, a beautiful young man who has a great story, and he's a great guy.
Here's the
I've tried
question
to
I
save
got to
you
ask
from
you.
paying this man $55 million.
I got a question for you. Do you think that Dak Prescott should have gotten paid this year?
Yes.
Be careful with your answer, because
I
if
say
you
yes.
do,
Not
say
if
yes.
you think
not $55 million. Not
Dude,
$55
are you
million.
kidding? Listen, Eddie, but why? Please tell me. I want to know, what is your reasoning? Because Joe
I'll tell you
Burrow
why.
got a
Jerry
fuck ton of
Jones.
money.
I'll tell you why. Jerry Jones fucks this thing up, and he does it every fucking year. I'm not paying anyone. I'm not paying anyone. I'm not paying anyone. And then he overpays. Jerry Jones should have
overpay.
never let Dak Prescott. He did, because you know why he overpaid?
Eddie,
Because he should have signed him 3 fucking years ago, Rafa, instead
And
of
he
putting
would've
him on
restructured-
franchise tags.
and
he
he
should have
would have had to pay him again. And he would have had to pay him again. Everyone knows.
not in
and it
3 years.
Dude, if he would have done this 3 years ago, he would have had to pay him anyways, because he would have held out. He finished second in the fucking MVP voting. Okay. And he had top 3 stats in the league last year. Brock Purdy was top 5. Everyone knows that the NFL quarterback fucking pay system works this way. The next quarterback up, if close to elite or top 5, will get paid higher than the next guy. It always works that way. It worked that way with Lamar. It worked that way with Joe Burrow. It worked that way with Herbert. It went to Trevor. It went to Dak. Guess who's next? Whether you like it or not, Brock Purdy is next. And Brock Purdy has gone to an NFC Championship game without a loss that season, by the way, under his as a starter. Then he leads the team to the Super Bowl, which he's one block away from probably winning the fucking thing, but it was against Patty the Daddy. Okay. And then this year, he's hurt. He got George Kittle hurt. He has Brandon Ayuk hurt. So, and then you're talking about, the money you're going to strap the team. On the offensive side of the ball, the team is already paid. With the exception of the left tackle, that's 102 years old anyways, so that he shouldn't get any more fucking money. Go out and draft a left tackle, okay, somewhere in the draft, and you're probably going to have a middle-of-the-pack pick. You can make that play there. Okay, so you're not going to pay some of the defense. Oh, well, restructure it and figure it out. But the quarterback needs to be paid, and he is the next man up, whether you like it or not. It's just
Okay,
that's
I agree with everything you said, except there's two guys that didn't do exactly what you said, and they're the two best fucking quarterbacks in our opinion. Tom Brady didn't do that, and Patty Mahomes didn't do that. The two
Pat
best
Mahomes has a
didn't do that.
400. First of all,
He's like the 10th highest. He's the 10th
because
highest
he's
paid
restructured.
QB in
Listen,
the
Patrick
league.
Mahomes.
he had a
Mahomes
10.
is
Didn't he have
28
like a 10-year deal?
$400 million
And he
deal or
keeps
whatever
on-
the fuck it was.
And he keeps
Eddie.
on deferring money.
Dude, Eddie, he keeps on
does.
deferring money. But guess who's not deferring money? Joe Burrow, Trevor Lawrence, Lamar Jackson. You think Josh Allen's
And
going
they
to
suck.
fucking defer money?
And their teams suck. That's my point.
It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, you are playing with, you're literally talking about the man's money, and you shouldn't. He is well deserving of whatever he gets. 50, 60, 65 million, whatever it is. He's proven to lead a team when healthy on offense to a Super Bowl. That is it. That you can never forget that. You cannot forget that at all. He led them to the Super Bowl. Okay. That is unforgettable. And it's just
Pat Mahomes' deal was like one of one at that time too, because there were no other teams that were locking in quarterbacks for that long. That contract was what honestly was happening with Pat Mahomes' deal at that point was they saw what baseball was doing. Baseball, 10-year deals, 15-year deals. We just talked about Juan Soto the other week. That's exactly what Pat Mahomes' deal looked like. The reason that Brady wasn't worried about any of that was because he had a bunch of incentives in his contract, and he also knew he was nothing without his role players. Purdy's role players are already signed on offense. The defensive side, they got to figure that out. They just do. It's going to be restructures. There's going to be guys that are leaving, but the guys that they truly need, they're going to be there. But the offensive side of the ball, it's already set. Ayuk just got his money this year. Ricky Pearsall's in a rookie deal. Debo is going to be back. Kittle's going to be back.
CMC's paid.
All of them are paid for. He's the last piece on that offense, and they're not going to draft a quarterback and then have to have him get chemistry with all these pieces where they basically have to go back to square one with an offense where they're already at an elite masters level with an offense with all these different pieces. That they want to be closer to what the Chiefs are doing, not further away. And if they draft a quarterback, that moves them back. They don't want that. That's why they're going to keep Purdy. They may draft a quarterback, but they'll draft another quarterback last in the damn draft so that he's a backup and he can learn from what Purdy is doing. That's how that's going to work. Purdy's going to get the money.
The other thing is too that we need to stop they're going to be in cap space hell and this and that, because last year you were on this show talking about the Chargers and why would you take that job, Harbaugh, and cap space hell and blah blah. Guess where the Chargers sitting today in the playoffs if the season ended today? The Niners will be just fine. The offense, for Purdy, top 5 in offense last year with a healthy roster. That is simply said. That the man deserves to be paid. We don't need to go round and round. I'd rather have Joe Burrow.
Eddie Money, I will never bring this up again. Okay? I promise. I was trying
we
to
beat him in a
49ers
submission.
fans, but you guys don't want to be saved.
Yeah,
he tapped out.
He got pinned. He tapped out.
I'm done trying to help 49er fans.
What's it called when you beat 15-0? Ryan, what was it, 15-0 pin?
Tech fall. That is a tech fall.
Yeah, tech fall right here.
Tech fault.
Well, going into the last segment of the pod, we have our playbook, which everyone gives their favorite plays of the week. Sponsored by Cut. Make sure to download in our link. Use code 2NOBODIES and get 10% back on your deposit.
Eddie Money, are you being held hostage as well now? I feel like
I'm in the same room as Ryan. I had to switch. They heard all the yelling coming from my. They heard all the yelling coming from my room, so they had to capture me.
Is this guy taking a shit?
No, I'm in CJ's room. My computer froze.
Fucking guy. All right, so our favorite plays of the week. Eddie, you got one for this week?
Yeah, my favorite play of the week is no. Wait, someone go. I'm flabbergasted. Someone go. I'll give you my favorite play of the week soon. Hold on. He
needs to recover from that.
I'm gonna take the Ravens. I'm gonna take the Ravens. My favorite play of the week is the Ravens minus the 6.5, 7, whatever you want to give it. I like the Ravens. I think they're gonna beat Pittsburgh. I think they'll beat them easily at home this week. I think I agree with what Ryan said earlier. I think Derrick Henry's going to run the ball 18 to 20 times, and they're just going to roll them. I think Baltimore's probably going to run the ball about 35 times in this game combined. So give me the Ravens.
Matthew Roger said, "Oh my God, you sound more like CJ in that room."
It's true.
And then
Not lying.
my play of the week, I will be taking the Texans and Chiefs under, just because the Chiefs, great defense. Texans haven't been looking that good. They should be able to scheme C.J. Stroud, Joe Mixon, and Nico Collins and limit them offensively. And if Mahomes plays, they're going to be running the ball. He can't move that well. And if Carson Wentz plays, even better for the under.
Ryan, you got something? 'Cause I'm contemplating two in my head right now.
I'm gonna go with, and I'm looking at the lines we have. I'm gonna go with Broncos plus 2.5. I think they win that game by at least a touchdown over the Chargers.
I'm going back and forth in between the Giants Falcons game and the Lions Bears game. I think Dan Campbell and he's gonna have those guys foaming at the mouth. I think Montgomery, although a beast and a great running back, we all not wanted to see Gibbs just be set free and let loose and see what this guy can do with 22 carries and 11 receptions. The other side of me says that I think the Falcons are going to try and play with their shiny toy too much, and 8.5 points is too much, and they're going to try to throw the ball too much when they're clearly a running team. That being said, I'm going with Lions minus 6.5. I think Dan Campbell's too good of a coach. He will have these guys ready, and Gibbs will have like 225 yards from the line of scrimmage, and Lions will blow the Bears out of the water.
Wow. That just about wraps up everything. If you guys want to add anything.
By the way, did we cover Will Hanley's comment? Purdy literally throwing to white receivers with bullet holes in them.
Oh, I think I was in the midst of changing.
That's a great fucking thank you, Will, for that.
Factual.
To me, that's a flex. That's
Not
who
for
I
a white
want
guy.
as a receiver.
Even more reason that Brock Purdy should be
Even
paid.
more of a reason.
Yeah. Dude, if I listen, I want black wide receivers. That's just what it is. Don't give me any other mixed race. I want black wide receivers. That's just there's two positions in the NFL you should want black, and that's cornerback and fucking wide receivers.
I don't know. Cooper
Cooper
DeJean he's lighting it up right now, man. They changed his name to DeJohn in Philly right now. They got DeJohn jerseys coming out.
John
Jason
from Louisiana.
Jason Sehorn. Come on, man.
Yeah,
Oh my
Rocky
God! You
Blair.
found one of the Cooper Cup was dirty. No, Cooper Cup's phenomenal. It's just it's one. There's one Cooper Cup when there's 50 black wide receivers that are better. So not better than Cooper Cup, but there's 50 black guys wide receivers better. Actually, there's probably 100. The ratio is probably 100 to 1. 100 good wide receivers to one white wide receiver. That's good. So, but anyways, is that it? Anybody?
When you find that white dude, he sure is special.
He's probably on a lacrosse field like Cooper Cup was.
Yeah, exactly. There's always one great. That's why it's called the Great White Hope, because that motherfucker is just one hope. It's just one dude got the hope.
Yes.
So
Fun fact, concept for that movie was based on one of my uncle's fights.
I love it, all of it.
Nice.
Edelman. Here we go. Here we go. Now we got the chat fucking with naming every wide receiver.
You got
Wes Welker. Fucking
Wes Welker.
Steve Sargent.
Ricky Prohl.
Yeah. Fucking. Yeah. So good shit.
Richard Dice. All right. Yeah. Thanks again, Ryan. Thanks. It's like 2:00 in Pennsylvania right now. Thank you for hanging out with us. Eddie Money, you've had to change rooms. Rafa, we'll see the show's never over. I will go lay down and Rafa will be hate texting in capital letters for the next 2 hours. It's thoughts and prayers to Randy Moss.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah. So thank you guys. That is episode 114. We will see you guys. We're gonna probably do a show on Monday and Tuesday. Yes or yes, Rafa?
Tuesday's Christmas Eve. So I think we should do Monday. I think we should do Monday, cover everything on Monday.
Good call. Good call.
So,
but thanks for
all right,
everyone
fellas.
who joined. Matt,
Zero
Will
Cool.
Hanley, Zero Cool. We appreciate you guys. Signing off. We love you guys and have a good Christmas, man.